welcome. It's a Reggae Monday morning, motivational and full of vim.
Reggae Monday.
Yeah,
the
from
things you come up with.
Calvis Howard and Koda, two very, very talented musicians, bringing you a musical flavor, reggae flavor to the morning.
Yep. If you hate Mondays, we are here to make sure we change that perception very quickly. Welcome back from the weekend. First working day of the week. It's breakfast on GTV a la carte.
How was your weekend?
It was great. Quiet in some parts, quiet in other parts.
All right.
Church on Sunday, other social activities.
Okay. Mine was the good, the bad, and the ugly.
The traffic.
So the good was I went to Cape Coast for a conference, What I Wish I Knew, WIWIC 2021. Great speakers. We had Dr. who's Cape Coast North MP. We had Doris Ahiati, who is a consultant. We also had Professor Ampia, who is a former VC of the University of Cape Coast. And then Bernard Avler was the keynote speaker. Powerful, powerful, powerful. So that was the good.
Okay.
The other good I had was I went to Fort Amsterdam.
Okay.
It's in Abanzi, and I had a great tour of Fort Amsterdam.
Is it the one that's off the coast from Axim?
Exactly. No. After between Anamabo and let's say Marquesine.
But you take like
Abanzi.
a little.
Yes, you get off the road and climb up. So it's in Abanzi. It's built in the 1600s.
Wow.
And it's still there. So
we should go see it.
Awesome. So Mr. Joseph Akofo took me on a beautiful tour. So that was a good. The bad was I went to Cape Coast Castle and they were trying to charge me 200 cedis to take photographs.
Right.
So I said, you know what? Forget this. I'm not gonna visit.
We'll
Cape
just
Coast
download
Castle.
something from the internet.
Thank you. And the ugly was the traffic. So it took me 8 hours from Cape Coast to Accra.
That's
hours.
Accra to Addis Ababa.
Thank you very much. We passed through the Gumwa areas and there was a festival called Atupa Festival.
Oh no.
Atupa Festival.
Okay.
What does Atupa mean in English?
No idea. But Atupa is not an English word.
Vigorous waist movements.
No.
Yes. That's the festival, okay? And the police were so furious. 2 police officers, 2 military guys had to go around making sure people did the right thing. Because at some point in time, we were the only people on the right track. Everybody else was just
on the wrong
messed
track.
everything up. So it was inhuman traffic. That was ugly. 8 hours.
The police actually had cause to issue a statement about that traffic situation over the weekend, and they said they had sent men to the ground to make sure that that is resolved as soon as possible.
Yeah.
But if you were stuck in there, for the police to issue a statement, that means it was
Atupa
bad.
Festival messed my Saturday evening.
Next time, stay in Accra. There was Homawa Atupa, so you could have done that, but you tried to drive on. So much happening, so much has already happened over the weekend, and today we promised another exciting program on breakfast, and we'll talk to our motivator who speaks to us every morning. We'll stop by his desk very, very shortly, and he will talk to us about a very special topic about what? Being yourself. So being yourself, being true to yourself. The doctor will be here to tell us all about that. The Africa Legal Empowerment Conference will be underway. We'll speak to the organizers about what that's all about. And tomorrow, August 31st, is the deadline the United States has given to evacuate all its nationals from Afghanistan. We are still monitoring events there and what it means for the rest of the world. And back home, national service postings have been delayed because guess what? COVID. So every area of our lives affected by this pandemic, and we'll look at all the issues that comes with NSS delayed postings also on today's program. So keep an eye. We're going to
the bedrock of traffic in Ghana.
I know you want to say that.
Yeah, I want to say bedrock.
We'll be in Kasoa. We'll be monitoring traffic situations on that stretch, and Val will tell us what to expect on her side of the set.
Good morning. Welcome to this side of the breakfast table. Welcome back from a very weekend. Who else thinks August is going by real quick? I think so. How do you distress? Today's Monday. We are going to walk you through the various ways you can distress. How do you distress? You can join our conversation via social media, via hashtag GTV Breakfast on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. And then, of course, we are also going to do social media trends where we look at the stuff that happened over the weekend. Of course, Manchester United is in there some way. Yes. Over to you guys. That's what's here on the breakfast table.
Back to base, Ronaldo. What do you expect? This show is brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water, Shield Acrylic Paint, and Adonko Next Level Energy Drink. Remember our WhatsApp number 055-556-1034. I'll repeat it slower. 055-556-1034. Two questions I want to ask you. If you could invite to breakfast anybody, either alive or dead, real or fictional, who would that person be? Yeah? If you could invite breakfast to come and eat with you, anybody in this world, either alive or dead or real or fictional, who would that person be? Send your answers to 055-556-1034. And I just want to know what's happening in your neighborhood. What's going on in your neighborhood? Let us know what's happening. Just send us your name, where you are, and what's happening in your neighborhood. 055-556-1034. It's now time for our Wisdom Nugget, brought to you by Dr. Kofi Osei Kusi. Be yourself.
It's exciting to come your way again this morning with a Wisdom Nugget for your day. And guess what? A nugget day helps to keep the problems away. Today, let's talk about be yourself. Be your authentic self. You know what? The world is like a factory production plant. It seems like everything keeps compressing us for all of us to become the same. I don't know if you have worked in a factory before, but I remember working in a factory many years ago in this foreign country. I was there a little bit, and I had to do a few different work here and there a little bit. And one day I worked in a factory, and this factory, you know, we were packaging sandwiches, you know what? You know, the bread, and, you know, it was like chicken sandwich and, you know, tuna sandwich and things like that. And it comes out and it's packaged, and then you put it in boxes, and then it gets down to the shops. And even for sandwiches and for other production, other products, the goal is for it to all be as similar as possible. And that is how the world seems to be. Educational system and society and social media. And what have you tried to force all of us to be alike? Try to force all of us to think alike. Try to force all of us, you know, to be like a copy of everything else. But you know what? You have to dare to be yourself. You have to dare to be your unique, authentic self. All of us are made with unique gifts, unique talents, and all of us are complementary to one another. Even twins may look like the same, but they have unique identities. And it's so important that you discover who you are. Find out what is unique about you. Find out what your gifts and talents are. And please, don't focus too much on other people. Example, and I know I keep talking about social media, but if you don't manage that well, it will be like you're always watching other people, and you're always trying to be like other people, and you're always comparing yourself with other people. But that is not how to live. It is better to look inward. It is better to look inward and look at your unique identity and ask yourself, how can I be the best version of myself? And so today, my wisdom nugget is be bold. Be authentic and be yourself. Be your authentic self. The unique things that are in you. Listen to that inner voice. Do the things that are right, that you know that you're supposed to do. Don't be a copy, and don't be a carbon copy of somebody else. Be your authentic self. We are celebrating uniqueness today, and I'm inspiring you and challenging you to get out there every single day and be your authentic self. Have yourself an authentic day.
Dr. Kofi Osei Kusi, thank you so much for that motivational word. Key thing for me is be authentic, be bold, be unique, and don't be a copy of somebody else. So those were the key takeaways for me. It's been quite chilly the past few weeks, especially in Accra and its environs, but will it continue? Let's check with the weather update. That's your weather update, and we'll go straight into social media trends. Guys, Kaf, you just told us an elaborate story about how you got stuck in traffic.
Yes.
4 hours, and the IGP promised, the police service issued a statement and said, we're fixing it.
Okay. Fix the traffic.
So, yeah, they're fixing it. That's a good one, isn't it? So, Fix the Country was trending sometime during the weekend as well. Here is the IGP on night patrol duty. How cool is that?
I think it's really good.
Imagine the IGP stopping at a checkpoint and the police asking that, Oga, something for the boys.
Or reminding you of the day.
That's a video.
Today is Friday. No, I like it. I like it. You've got to sometimes do snap
Action
checks.
man.
Yes, don't announce that you are coming. Don't let them see you coming. And presidents have done this. Julius Nyerere of Tanzania used to just turn up. You know, turn up at the hospital facility or something and just surprise people. Catch people doing the good, hopefully.
Yeah, I mean, we even at GBC, we've heard stories from our seniors, Sam Yeboah, a few others, who narrated stories of President Rawlings showing up at GBC unannounced and sitting right in front of you whilst you were doing the news. And I don't want to imagine what that feels like. But if I was a man in black right now, at the time the IGP visited, I would hope that, first of all, he didn't catch me sleeping.
Yes.
He didn't catch me for the wrong things. So if I was asking for, can I see, your ID? Yes. Can I see what's in the back of your car? Can I see who else is in the car? Yes, I would hope that that's what I was doing when he showed up on the watch. Otherwise,
I mean, this is a good step. Today is his 30th day.
You're monitoring?
Oh, yes, I'm counting the days.
100 days.
It's his 30th day on duty, and we like this. This is kudos to the IGP. More surprise checks. Yeah, catch people doing the right thing, hopefully. But if you're doing the wrong thing too, we catch you. Yes.
But guys,
reminds me. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, no.
No, go.
I was going to talk about traffic.
Yes, yeah, talk about that for me.
You know, we usually get mad traffic in Accra when it's getting to the festivities. Yes. So we started feeling a lot of traffic in December. And then just before Easter, the usual traffic and the crowd in Accra. But then it hasn't gone down after that. The traffic has been a constant. So why? Are there many more people buying more cars? Like, what's happening?
I wonder. I mean,
staying in traffic for 8 hours.
Yeah, I was in it from Cape Coast to
Accra. I live on a traffic-prone stretch, so I don't even understand when people say,
I'm going to call out some
there's no
now.
traffic.
I saw a church car, pastoral office. I have the number. I'll release that number. But I saw a Ghana Railways vehicle also, GT2779/10. GT.
Were they doing the right thing?
They were doing the wrong thing. They were doing the wrong thing. They were driving on the shoulder.
Careful, is calling
I've called you out.
I've
called them out. The church people too. I'll call them out.
Okay.
Yes.
So I want us to talk about COVID because we are not doing very well, unfortunately, and a number of deaths have gone upwards of the 1,000 mark, and that's what we have on your screen right now. Confirmed cases 117,636. The deaths have gone to 1,008, and we are looking at 596 new cases with 7,016 active cases. That's the number as at close of day yesterday, as at this morning. These are the latest figures. We want to continue to encourage you to comply with all the preventive etiquette and the protocols. Wear your masks, socially distant, wash your hands with soap under running water for at least 20 seconds, and avoid crowded places as much as you can, because now if we get anywhere, we could, even internationally, we could be facing some restrictions, especially when it comes to travel. And we don't want to do that. I mean, you're going to be put on the red list in the UK, for example, which would mean that you have to pay £2,350 thereabouts. That's a lot. Just to pay for your mandatory quarantine on arrival in that country. So it's not a very good picture. We want to encourage all of us to do the right thing.
Thank you. Talking about doing the right thing, I read somewhere about how to correctly wash your hands. Okay. It's a matter of singing happy birthday 2 times and just doing everything. So
but at what speed? Like this. Happy birthday to you.
No, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Then again, happy birthday to you. Your thumbs, happy birthday to you. In between your fingers, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. Oh, my computer is even speaking to me. Okay. Says thank you for my kindness. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Siri.
Speak down next time. Speak down next time. Yes, go ahead.
So, social media trends. We've seen so much happen on the entertainment front, in the movie circles, especially from our counterparts in Nigeria. I'm sure Valerie will fill us in on all. My absolute favorite was Mercy Johnson and the birthday party her husband.
Her birthday party was a surprise. Okay, no, we're going to talk Alex first. Let's talk Alex first.
So Alex got engaged.
He's a Nigerian actor. And then he got engaged with the usual social media rousing everybody, and then suddenly they are apart, and people are saying that, oh, you caused it.
Oh.
That, and then, yes.
Who caused it? They are saying who caused it.
Wow.
They're saying they shouldn't have put their relationship out there anyway. And then people start questioning celebrity relationships, all those things, and then all of those things.
You see, that's all well and good, but you have to leave people to make the choices that work for them. So if somebody decides that they want to put their relationships out there, good for them if it works for them, but you can't make the decision for the person to say don't do this.
And then also people are saying that you're asking for people to respect your privacy and all of that, but then somebody is saying that if you wanted us to respect your privacy, why did you put it out there?
So
to give
we are
us
in
pressure.
This together.
Yes,
we are all in this relationship together.
And then in Nigeria again, Mercy Johnson made the headlines when her surprise birthday party. And then what made it tick for everybody was the fact that she kept kneeling to everybody who I assume maybe is her senior in something. And then came the feminist and the whole controversial, why is she kneeling down? But I think it was really nice, especially she knelt to a couple of people, a lady included, and then finally her husband.
It's a show of respect.
Yeah,
in some countries people bow. In Japan they bow.
It doesn't take anything from her, does it?
In Nigeria people prostrate. Like
even in Ghana here, this is you saw Bernard Monarch coming in recently on my show. He actually bowed in front of his traditional, one of his chiefs, you know, Titus Glover, who was an honorary chief in his area.
So wow, the debate about respect and the feminism and, you know.
And then, so that's, I mean, her video generated that on social media over the weekend as well.
The feminazi should give us a break, all right? All right?
Well, I mean, okay. If she is, like, I go back to my earlier comment, that people need to stop deciding for other people what works for them. So if you find yourself in a situation where you think bowing or kneeling or that kind of thing is not for you, then by all means don't do it.
Yeah.
But if you're coming from a place where it works for you, then if you're not breaking the law, then we are onto it. Well, what other trends? Burnaboy sold out the O2.
I'm not surprised. I'm a Burnaboy fan, so I'm not surprised. I'm actually really happy.
Okay.
So yes, more wins for the Burna side. More wins for the Burna side.
My kids introduced me
I want to see.
They did. Yes.
I love that song. Yeah is the song.
I want to see a Ghanaian artist sell out the O2, maybe Wembley as well.
You always want to put Ghana versus Nigeria.
Okay, I think this is.
Let's just enjoy them.
Yeah, but it's still a win for Africa anyway.
It's a win for Burna.
But remember that Burna, in an interview, Burnaboy was like his place of choice is Ghana whenever he wants to distress anything. And Burna,
look at how he appeared on stage. Like, that's alien. That's like
he came in a spaceship.
Yep.
All right.
So see, like, creativity.
All right.
It tells you how we are honing the craft.
When you win the Grammy, you can do anything.
Yes. Burna is like the African giant, of course.
Congratulations.
Giant.
Yes.
It's a
Giant.
giant.
And then just
in the spirit of yay.
Yes, just to throw that in. Yay, our favorite controversial couple. So yes, album is the Donda album is officially out, but then they continue to confuse people. Everybody's asking. So the two of you cry.
Him and Kim.
Yes, so everybody's talking about that as well. And so that's yay for you guys.
You guys go to school with these guys. The way you're calling it Kim and Yay. Why, you go to my school? Or Mary's?
No, please.
The Kim to Mary's?
No.
Come on, man. Yeah, Kim.
Okay, so Kanye is still confusing us.
Yeah. So
we're still loving his music, aren't we? We are still loving his music.
And then just to throw it in, yesterday I was watching the Manchester United match. on tenterhooks anyway, and then finally, and then Ronaldo too is in there. So let me just say that.
The director says we need to go for our Facebook. I mean, I would have thrown in the whole conversation about the king of boys and all the buzz is generating on Twitter and on social media. Salami. I love that show. Nicely written.
We'll introduce you to it.
Don't worry. I don't know. But guys, those are all the issues that are trending on our side of the table. Tell us what's trending on your phone and send your comments to us on our WhatsApp line 05555 61034 05555 61034. We'll be back to continue GTV breakfast. So much more to look forward to. You don't want to miss it. We'll be back.
Health check, getting you up to speed on lifestyle,
sports,
what of showbiz, what's hot and what's not.
It's our date in the morning just for you, with the team you can trust.
It's breakfast weekdays at 6 a.m.
Don't be late.
Coming live from the capital, this is the Breakfast Show.
And they call me UJ. Oh yeah, yeah. And they call me UJ. Oh Why you need a show that to cry? But I'm a so we need a show that to cry. Yeah, let bygone be bygone. I didn't see what the bottom gonna do. We go straight to stardom. To next level, oh, baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The energy next level, but baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll take you to next level, baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't go next level.
Excessive drinking can be detrimental to health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
She's really funny. I know. Oh my God, I'm really enjoying this. Hello. Who's here?
Wow. Kojo, their TV is very clear. Not like the one we have at home, where displays are of low quality and channels keep going off.
This is the same TV we use. The same TV we use at home.
Oh, Kojo, you don't have to worry, okay? Our TV was equally terrible. Not until we discovered RCS, honey. Tell them.
RCS. Reliable Connect satellite. We didn't even have to buy a new decoder. We got our installer, give him the parameters and connected.
You can now enjoy over 100 exciting channels in SD and HD quality across Africa and Europe. For TV station owners, RCS offers you the best package for your channels with wider viewership at a cheaper cost. Plus, your channels can be viewed in over 42 countries in Africa, Asia, and other parts of Europe. Projecting your pictures with dedicated 2.0 bandwidth for SD channels and 4.0 bandwidth for HD channels.
Baby, I'm not going back to that TV. You better call them now.
RCS, the future of...
GTV Breakfast, hashtag GTV Breakfast, and the show is brought to you by Awake Drinking Waters right there. Shield acrylic paint and Adon Connect Level Energy Drink. Our WhatsApp number is 055561034. If you could invite somebody for breakfast, dead or alive, fictional or real, who would that person be? Got a couple of results here. Andy Bix says Cookie T, the television personality. Betiv Kafui Victor says, I wanted to say Hawk, but maybe the place will be too small for him to enter. Florence, on a sad note, says, my current deceased parents, I missed you so much. And McCarthy Kwame says, the late J.J. Rollins would be his breakfast guest. Who would be your breakfast guest? Dead or alive, real or fictional? Send us your response to 055-556-1034. I do have two gentlemen who are my guests right now. They are from an organization called the Federation of African Legal Affairs, legal,
law students,
and law students. I beg your pardon. Yeah, I think I need to drink a bit of water. I'm good. All right, gentlemen. So good to have you here. I have on my extreme left Alfred Eliday, Director for External Affairs and Diplomacy for FALAS, and Christ Ejir, who is National Director for FALAS. Gentlemen, welcome to Breakfast with me right here. How are you?
Thank you very much.
Okay, so tell us about your organization, the Federation of African Legal Students.
It's Federation of African Law Students, and it's basically a mother body for all law students in Africa. And we form the group to fight for the common interest of law students in Africa.
What are the common interests of law students in Africa?
And we realize that mostly we have issues with getting internship opportunities and furthering our studies outside.
Okay.
So that is the main aim. So we bring ourselves together to share ideas. And if you know how you can help others to build their skills in a particular field, or you know of any internship opportunities outside, you can give us a link, and then we help students from all countries to partake in those opportunities.
Why is it so hard for law students to get internship opportunities?
Well, okay.
All right, so I think it's not about it being difficult. It's a matter of us trying to integrate ourselves in the African space. And we feel that as a mother body, if we come together and we are able to share the concerns of the various law students in Africa and see where they feel lacking, we'll be able to, with the network, it's also a networking body, so and also a hub for advocacy. So we try to use the voice that we have to speak for people. So Ghanaian could either be interning in Nigeria, in Sierra Leone, through these various mediums that we have, mediums of network that we have to channel the various students there.
So you actually have Ghanaians interning in other countries?
Yes, we have some Ghanaians interning in like the ECOWAS. You know, the ECOWAS president now is Ghanaian. The ECOWAS court president is Ghanaian, and they have created this court system and internship opportunities. And a few months ago, he came to UPS Law School and spoke about this. And so with that slate, we'll be able to channel some of our students from Sierra Leone, some from Liberia, to the various African countries to intern, just so we can create that enabling space for all law students in Africa.
Okay. Apart from looking for internship opportunities, what else does FALAS do for members?
We want to build future leaders who would fight for the common interests of Africa, to make Africa great, to make Africa what we all want it to be. So that is basically what we are doing right now. So we want leaders. So you know how important law, governance, politics, everything, it's from the scratch. You as a law student or as a legal practitioner, you have to have these skills, so that if you are put in those positions, you would have enough skills to fight for the interests of Africa. If you want Africa to be great, you have to be equipped from the scratch to do what is right. And every time people are complaining about our leaders that we have now, we don't want the future to be like that. So we want to share ideas, and then we want to make sure that we would get to a point that Africa will be great. And then we can say that we help the students from the scratch to get to that.
How long has FALAS had a chapter or organization in Ghana?
It was formed just last year.
Oh, brand new.
Yeah.
Okay. What will be some of your achievements to date?
Okay, so we've been able to, like we started with the internship opportunities. We've also organized certain students to intern with African Bar Association. We've had seminars on international investment law, international trade law, and all that. So it's conferencing, internship opportunities, networking, and we will get to a point that we will help students, financially disabled students, to have the opportunity to further their studies and all that. So it's all in the pipeline that we are trying to achieve.
So your focus is on national issues?
Yes.
You are the external director?
Yes.
National. So tell me externally, what have you achieved so far?
Yes. So externally, we've been able to touch on the regional belts of Africa, where in the West African region, we've been able to organize conferences that has been able to cater for the need of the various regions. So West Africa, we've done it. East Africa, Uganda, Rwanda, they've also been working assiduously to ensure that the needs of its students across those regional belts are met. So with the conferencing that he spoke about, you've been able to do it, and the networking aspect is very important to us, and then also the advocacy, because we believe that the law is tied down to the hearts of the people, and if the legal space is functioning well in Africa, that would be human rights and other issues being solved. So we believe that with the voice that we have, we will be able to channel it, be the voice for the voiceless. And so we've been able to achieve a lot in these other regions. So West African region, the East African region, the North Africa has been also very, very vibrant. Even in our conference, some of them are even coming. It's going to be a great years to come. We are going to see it grow.
Where are you as far as the continent is concerned? How many members do you have? Which countries are you in?
Okay, so we started with, we signed the accord with 14 African countries, Ethiopia, Egypt, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Liberia, Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda. We've spread, and we've been able to, after that, spread our tentacles across. It's just, we just need few months to just reach out to all the countries in the continent. But we've been able to spread our tentacles wide enough to touch on these majority of the countries in Africa.
Does your membership in Ghana include all law students?
Yes, so we were working to the law student unions of every faculty. So we would reach out to them, and then they would get their members to be part of FALAS.
Okay.
That's how we worked. Okay. So far we have University of Ghana, Gimpa Law School, UPSA, KNUST, Central University, and we are working to get the others on board too.
What do you think is the attraction for law? Undergrads go to universities and they wonder. It seems that in my time, law was a really popular subject. Is that attraction still there right now? And
Yes,
if it is, what is the attraction?
Okay, so I think there is that notion, which is a very justifiable one, that the people in the legal aspect or law people are very intelligent, and we have the three professions: law, divinity, and medicine. And so with that,
you put law on top.
I mean,
you put divinity and the law. And medicine at the bottom.
Oh, no. It's not in any particular order. It's not in any particular order.
Why not law, divinity, medicine? You said law, divinity, medicine. They are watching.
Right, God was first a lawyer as well. So
God was God first.
You will.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I think that attraction is there, and the fact that we are referred to as learned, and when a lawyer comes, the presence they come with, I think even as law students, we gather a lot. When we enter places, people feel like we are lawyers already, and so I feel it comes with just studying the law, and with the people that we look up to. They all tone certain lines, and so you just fall in like that. People see you and they want to, they crave for such. So it's not just maybe the academic aspect, it's about the presence as well, how we carry ourselves. So I think that is why people still, they crave to be lawyers. That thing.
Nobody's talking about justice for the people. It seems like the profession is all about yourselves.
No, it's not. I think there are many lawyers that have given themselves out to the people. We can count many. You see, law is being a lawyer is like an advocate, like an intercessor. I always tell people we are intercessors, and that's what we've always been doing. Such that the voiceless will have a voice in you. So that is what the legal profession is all about. It's about putting others first. The money is secondary. Yeah, the money has to come, but it's always secondary. So we have people like Isobel, Afomensa, who is doing a lot, who's built shelter for survivors of gender-based violence. And this person is one that didn't put herself first, putting the people first. So there's a lot going on that maybe there isn't much attention paid to. Yeah.
Okay. You want to add anything to that?
I think
we've made a good case for you. All right. So there's a conference that Falas is organizing. Tell us about that conference.
So it's the Africa Legal Empowerment Conference.
Africa Legal Empowerment Conference. Okay.
Basically focused on law and governance. So we are trying to discuss the institutions in government and those that have failed and how we can build them. So we are bringing people from all over Africa. Since we say we want to build a united Africa, we want to make sure that we share common ideas, and then we realize what each country has done that has caused the problem, and then a possible way that we can remedy that situation, and then make sure that in the years to come we won't repeat those issues or those mistakes, and then Africa will run smoothly, basically. So we are bringing students from all over Africa, and I think we will have a very good time.
How has COVID impacted the potential attendance of this conference?
Well, from the beginning we had a plan. So we had the number of students that we wanted to participate, and I think we have almost the number. I think we got quite a number of students to participate. And then looking at the place, the location, and then the number of students, I think the COVID protocols we can well ensure the protocols are followed, and I think everything will be in place.
All right. So where is the conference happening?
Yeah, UPSC Auditorium.
UPSC Auditorium.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. To add a little to the conference and the impact of COVID, I think that many people showed interest, especially because of a theme that we are running with this year: redefining law and governance, legal education, justice systems, and formidable institutions in perspective. So you realize that we are talking not just about law and governance, but we are tackling very essential part of it: the legal education, the justice systems, like I was talking about, which is not just about the judiciary, is also about lawyers and what you're doing, and also formidable institutions. So we have speakers like Patrice Lumumba talking about the African dream, talking Her Excellency Dr. Errant speaking about our strive for the Ubuntu. I mean, together I am because you are, and then how we can strive for our economic emancipation as Africans. And then we have Professor Michael Kwe also touching on lawyers in Africa and how we can build ourselves as young and vibrant politicians. So we have several areas that we are going to tackle. Even Mr. Momoni Mukhtar will also be tackling on the security aspect in the West African region. So we are also getting the speakers from the North Africa. Zayed Ali is coming. They are coming here to Ghana, actually. So we could have gotten thousands of people from Africa to come, but for COVID. And so COVID has really impacted, even the amount they have to pay for the COVID test and all those things has really affected our international participation. But yet still, we still have law students from Africa, I mean hundreds of them, who are still coming for the conference. Unfortunately, because of COVID, we would be using one of the large conference rooms. It also carries hundreds, exactly. For spacing and all that.
Would there be an opportunity for people to plug in online?
Yes, exactly. So this is actually the largest convergence of law students in Africa, historic, and so we believe that our online base is the online space is where we are able to get these people. So representation will be much. We are going to get thousands of people there. Deputy Attorney General Ms. Asonaba Dapa will also be there, and so it's going to be a very great opportunity for people to come, students to come there, log in and listen. Kofi Asma, Dr. Kofi Asma will also be there, Mr. Samson Ayenini, and we are hosted by the Dean of the UPSC Law School, Professor Kofi Abuchi, a very great man, one that has taught me and was my dean. I was alumni of UPS Law School, so it's going to be a great session.
And it's on Thursday?
Yes, it's on
the
Thursday.
2nd of September.
Yes.
From what time to what time?
From 10.
From 10 a.m.?
Yes, to 5
p.m. To 5 p.m. Okay. How can people contact you, get in touch if they want more information about this conference?
Right, so they can contact me on 0560959295, and then also they can contact us via Instagram, official Falas.
Official Falas.
Official Falas.
Falas.
Yes, please. And then also on Facebook as Falas. Just Falas.
Okay.
Yeah, Falas International. And then also they can contact us on Twitter. So anywhere they send messages, we are going to reply.
You're everywhere.
We are everywhere.
Okay.
The number I give is on WhatsApp as well, so they could text, and then we could arrange for where they are going to be.
Give it again.
Give them 0560959295.
Okay. Any final words? Anything you want to say that hasn't been covered yet?
Yes. So I would encourage all law students to participate. It's going to be a great time. I would encourage every law student to participate, and the conversation shouldn't end after the conference. We should take it up and fight for our interests.
Okay. Anything you want to say? You want to add?
Well, I think he's touched on it, and I think the most important thing is the conversation not ending on Thursday, but is actually being doers of the word and not just the sayers of the word or hearers only. Okay. So we are going out there to effect change in the society, and so this change would only come if we give ourselves up to work. And so we need to be the agents of change that we aim to be.
Okay.
And so that's the message. And we are also entreating each and every one of you to be a part of it. And so, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Is there a hashtag? I like hashtags.
Yes.
What's the hashtag?
Hashtag Falas21.
Hashtag Falas21. That's Alfred Eli Day, Director for External Affairs and Diplomacy, as well as Christ Ejir, who is National Director for, both of them are with the Federation of African Law Students. I put out a question. Who would you invite for breakfast? Dead or alive, real or fictional? If you could have the opportunity, who would you invite for breakfast, to have breakfast with you?
Jesus.
Jesus?
Yeah.
Okay. What would you talk about?
Well, I think talk about life in general.
Right.
Life has been like, I think I would want to know him more and understand the mysteries of life.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think he's
your breakfast.
Yes, exactly.
Right, how are you? Kwame Nkrumah. Okay, why would you want to have Osagyefo for breakfast?
Oh, we can talk about his dream for Africa. I think that's the most important thing. So
all right.
we can have discussion on that.
Okay, well, thank you for coming for breakfast with me. It's a real pleasure. And check out their conference. It's the African Legal Empowerment Conference at the UPSA on Thursday, 2nd September from 10 a.m. till the end of the day. Interesting conversations around governance and law and how the young legal students, law students, are going to make things happen in the future. And thank you very much. But the question still remains for you, 055-556-1034. Who would you invite for breakfast if you had the opportunity? So I'd like to invite Adam, the first man. Just see how you use cutlery in eating akpla and fotidechi. You guys have jokes, man. And then this is from Facebook. McCarthy Kwame says the late J.J. Rawlings would be my guest for breakfast. Isaac Papa Nketia says Winston Churchill. Okay, the British wartime leader, World War II. Kwesi says Dr. Kwame Nkrumah and J.B. Dankwa to stir unity in this nation. All right. Ni Ejiri Bano would like to have Professor Atta Mills and Dr. Kofi Annan for breakfast. Hussein Nyamiche Suleiman says the late Hajia Fatima Nyamiche. Gabi Gabriel says the late Mills would be his breakfast guest. Milo says my mom. Okay, people are missing their people. Who else? Let me see. More questions, more responses here. Who would you invite for breakfast if you had the opportunity? This is a very long list. Citizen Apuwada, Abdullah Abanga, Apostle Joshua Selman, Apostle Michael Orokpo, Apostle Arome Osayi, Chachuchi Kata, Kwame Nkrumah, Haruna Idrisu, Justice Sai, Yoni Kulendi, Alan Trementing, Ambrose Apauda, Bright Simmons, Felix Kwachiofosu, John Dramani Mahama, Dr. Mahamadou Bobanga, Professor Nana Jane Opukwajiman, Philemon La, Isaiah Pusai in Nasara, Professor Raymond Atukuba, John Abujinapo, the list isn't even aired now, Samuel A. Jinapo, Azagodo Adongo, Chimamanda Adichie, Iwela Ngozi, Amata Edu, Manasseh Azuri Awuni, Professor Evans Atamils. All I will say is that you need a table that stretches from here to Kasoa, you know, to have a meal with all these people sitting down there. There are more. But keep them coming in 055-556-1034. I'm also asking the question, what's happening in your neighborhood today? And a lot of you are coming in with varied things. So what's going on in your neighborhood? So the big news from Ernest Kufogidira says heavy downpour since yesterday up to date at Elubo border in the Jomoro municipality of the Western region. So rain issues going on there. Cynthia Kwashi on Facebook says, what's new in my neighborhood? Ridiculously high rent prices. Well, okay. And then finally, a third one. This is almost like an advert, but no problem, I'll say it. The big news from my side is I'm dropping a remix of Mai featuring Picaloos, which drops this Friday with some beautiful visuals. Have a great day, boss. That's from Tokes, the musician. So it's a new song there. He jumped on it and ran his advert with me. No problem. I like it. This is hashtag GTV Breakfast. We shall return with Rush Hour, with Keep an Eye, with headlines, and a conversation on Africa and Afghanistan and why we should be concerned. You stay, don't go anywhere. GTV Breakfast, good to have you here. Good morning. Welcome to a brand new week, the last by one day of the month. And we're going to Spintex Flower Pot. It's an area in Accra. You know, we have all kinds of strange names. The area is called Flower Pot. But the person who's there is not a stranger to me or you. His name is Jay, and he's ready to give us a Rush Hour report. Hey, Jay, what's up?
Coffee. Adeo. How you doing?
Ade like my name. What's up? What's happening?
Okay, so it's been a wonderful weekend. Today is a Monday morning. It's been a very cool Monday morning, owing to some rain and light showers this morning. So this morning's report, we are bringing to you live from Flower Pot here on the Spintex Road. This place is quite busy, but fortunately this morning there's not a peak rush hour period. I remember back in the day, this period used to be so hot when it was just too late. So people who are usually on this route, when you get here, you have to give up hope. But right now, the road has been expanded on, and road users really have access to use the road, and it's quite free. So these things you're seeing right now, this road is quite famous because from here, it can connect you to Airport Hills, it connects you to Spintex, it connects you to the motorway, as well as leading you towards the Accra Mall itself. So right now, you see things for those who are coming, who are using the Spintex Road, going towards either the motorway, or they are going towards the Accra Mall, or they are going towards the Spintex underpass, so that they can get to either East Legon or Medina, Baoleshi, and all those areas. So traffic isn't really building up for those people over there. You can tell it is free flowing, it is quite steady for them. So if you're using this route this morning, at the moment you are safe. Yeah, so if you're using this route and you're heading towards your workplace, maybe towards Airport Hills or something, you are safe. And I would just like to point out another bone of contention over here is the fact that there's no pedestrian crossing. So I believe when it's peak rush hour period for pedestrians who have to cross this side, it will be quite dangerous for them because they have to contend with people coming from Airport Hills and then those who are also on the roundabout, and then those coming from the motorway, so it becomes quite hectic for them. I don't know how they can rectify the situation, but for now, this is what pedestrians have to face. You see them coming from the motorway angle as well, and all trying to cross from this side. At the moment, that's the safest way they can get across. I'm not sure how safe it is when it is peak rush hour period. So these are the scenes you are seeing right now at the moment. And so this moment. So this has been the rush hour report live from Flower Pot on the Spintex Road.
Alrighty, Jay, thank you so much. Yeah, I like the man looking buff. I think he went to the gym yesterday just for this segment. He's looking nice and fit and trim. Jay, thanks a lot from Flower Pot. We shall be going to the bedrock of traffic in the whole of West Africa. It starts with K and ends with A, and there are 5 letters in it. And we'll be going there pretty soon on today's show. I'm still asking the question, who would you invite for breakfast? Dead or alive, real or fictional? And on Twitter, Adakwa Obed Owusu says, Christopher Nimley. Yes, he's the sports, the football pundit, ardent Man U fan. All right. Yao Bafo says, pure Akan. DJ Gemini says, Wako Jacko, Michael Jackson. Yes, this is his birth month, I believe. He's passed away so many years ago. Gabi says, you'd like to have Lucifer for breakfast. I need to hear his side of the story. You guys. Then you would like to have me for breakfast. Well, you have me for breakfast right now on GTV, hashtag GTV breakfast. Obo Ajiman says, my dead father. Somebody's missing his father. Yeah, I dreamt about my father too. May he rest in peace. And Mr. Abubakar says, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah would be my guest for breakfast. Who is your guest for breakfast? We'd like to find out, okay? 055-556-1034. This is hashtag GTV breakfast. Monday morning, last but one day of the month. We return with the headlines. Don't go anywhere.
This is the Breakfast Show.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Are you looking for an opportunity to learn and grasp the Quran with style and excitement? Then search no further, because the National Quranic Recital Competition is here. Children 13 years and below will be selected from the Greater Accra, Northern and Ashanti regions to demonstrate their prowess. Which region will emerge victorious and which region will sit at the tail of the ladder in the maiden edition of the National Quranic Recital Competition? Anticipate the fever. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
Across Africa, nations are beginning to trade among themselves like never before, creating the largest continental market the world has ever seen. On the Single African Market Program, we will show you how products, services, capital and people will be crossing barriers as the continent and its citizens embrace a single market in a sustainable manner for growth and development to meet targeted UN development goals.
Congratulations, Your Excellency.
Agriculture, manufacturing, aviation, maritime, mining, energy, tourism, technology and telecommunication, formal and informal trading, education, health, legal justice, financial and stock markets are all connecting in one African market. Get the latest update on all opportunities from the continent's trade house. Know the success stories and how challenges are being addressed. Africa is ready to trade among itself and the world. So are the people. The Single African Market is the voice of businesses that trumpets the vision of Africa everywhere. In association with the Government of Ghana, International Chamber of Commerce, Business for Peace Foundation, GIZ, UNECA, and UNDP. On you this July at this time on GTV.
All hail Nana Otuo Srebo II on the 50th anniversary celebration of his installment as a Manhini of Drabbing. Let's celebrate his visionary leadership and service to Drabbing, Asante and Ghana.
30th August, fireworks to herald installment date.
31st August, 11 a.m. Thanksgiving service. 7 p.m. till you drop. Live concert by Abrantia Amachidede and Kwame Eugene. Join us celebrate 50 years of Nana Otuo II's installment and 50 years of unity and development. COVID-19 safety protocols will be observed.
And they call me Eugene. When you need a shoulder to cry.
Ye pese dawasio eja ye kutuo nyamiye esese ye dawasio
GTV breakfast show brought to you by Awake Purified Drinking Water. It's right there. Shield acrylic paint and Adobe Next Level energy drinks. Still to come, conversations on national service postings and the delays. What's going on there? We'll look at Afghanistan and why Africans should be concerned. And if you are interested in yoga, I did yoga years ago. Bending of the contorting of the body. I escaped, but yoga is coming to the studio today. So if you're interested in that, that's something that Valerie will show you how to go about it on today's show. Our WhatsApp number is 055-556-1034. Who would you invite for breakfast, dead or alive, real or fictional? And Mohammed Sani says, my breakfast guest would be His Eminence, the National Chief Imam of Ghana, Dr. Sheikh Osman Nuhu Sharubutu. Well, I do have for breakfast two gentlemen who go way back, they say. Nikwate Titus Glover, former Deputy Transport Minister and former MP for the good people of Tema East. Yes, indeed. And former Central Regional Minister Aquinas Tevia Kwanzaa. Gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you. Former MP.
And former MP. Infantiman. Of course. Yes, I drove to your town. I went to Fort Amsterdam over the weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and I drove through. It took me 8 hours from Cape Coast to Accra. It wasn't funny.
Yeah.
Too much traffic, man.
Mankesim.
Beyond Kumwa.
No, but even Mankesim now from Abonku.
Yes.
No, from Abonku, where my house is, from Abonku all the way to Serious.
Yeah. On Saturday it wasn't that bad. It was the Kumwa area which just killed it. The driver just behaving. You know?
Okay.
From Bujumbura coming. Yeah, no, even before. It took me 8 hours from Cape Coast to Accra. Yeah, but some two officers, both 2 military men, 2 policemen, sorted things out after a while. And I like that military-police collaboration. It was good. Gentlemen, good to see you here. When was the last time you met?
It's over. I think we were in the 5th year. In the 7th Parliament, I never met my senior. Let me admit here, trust me, when I entered Parliament, in the 6th Parliament, one of the seniors who really, really encouraged me, and at every point in time, because he can flow very well in a gun, we click so fast. Himself, Fritz Bafo, and Tachai.
Okay.
These are my 3 seniors. And Aquinas, one of Aquinas, has been so phenomenal. And trust me, for the whole of my term in the 2nd term, I've never met him. Even though I know his home.
You're empowered outside this. Don't meet your friends.
It's so sad. But I do ask of him from Chief Mining, who is his good pal. And ask of him, but let me admit, I didn't do it well.
Okay.
So he should forgive me.
I think forgive me. He's blushing, but he will forgive you. All right, gentlemen, good to have you here. It's all smiles here, but the front page of today's Ghanaian Times isn't great. A journalist shot dead, UK journalist shot dead at Kintampo. Another injured in robbery attack. 2 gunmen killed, 4 arrested. It's a crime front page, and there's also a 14 Fulani herdsmen arrested over gang raping girl of 13. Horrible news on the front page of today's Ghanaian Times. Let's look at the journalist who was killed. Page 3, journalist from London-based television channel MTA International was on August 23 killed by armed robbers on the Kintampo Buipe Highway. Taleh Ahmed, who was attacked along with his other colleague, was in the country to work on a documentary. Happened at Mpaha Junction when the crew was traveling by road, resulted in victims being robbed of their mobile phones and money. So they were crossed by armed men. When they got to Mpaha, who opened fire on them, deflated their vehicle tires, and forced the vehicle to stop. So police arrived at the scene to see victims with gunshot wounds after some bullets had penetrated the vehicle and hit the 2 victims. Rushed to the polyclinic for treatment, transferred to Tamale Teaching Hospital. 2 suspected armed robbers have been killed. 4 others arrested in this particular robbery. Killed after exchanging gunfire with police, the police team. So 4 have been arrested in custody and are assisting in investigations. This is pretty sad, and the story of the insecurity on this particular highway is not new. How does this become a thing of the past?
Kofi, good morning to your viewers, and let me take this opportunity to say a big thank you to all my friends and loved ones who on Saturday expressed their goodwill on my 55th birthday. I'm so grateful. And some were saying that, why don't you do something? I said, no, let me take it easy. 55, I know people are expecting to do something. Yeah, but I took things quite easy. It reflects so many things, politically, family-wise, and all that. So let me salute all my good friends for that goodwill messages. The Kintampo Tamale Highway, like you said, is not new. On my way coming to the studio, there's a similar armed robbery on the Bolaga Walewale Road, where traders from Bolaga heading towards Tamale. 2 armed robbers stopped them on the way and they robbed them. But according to the narration from one of the victims, they passed 2 police barriers. The second one and the spot where they were robbed is not that far. So they were thinking that the police should have come into their rescue. But according to the narrator, the police said they couldn't come because they are not on live vests, bulletproof. So they couldn't come into their rescue. That was so unfortunate. The robbers are becoming so sophisticated these days, and I know there's a lot of patrols on this stretch from Kintampo up to Bupe or whatever they do. Then they've been able to segment their patrols, but I think that what they have to do is to intensify these patrols that they do on this stretch. I recall the tomato sellers that goes to Burkina earlier this year made a lot of protest to say that the way they are losing their lives and their monies of these robbers is becoming unbearable to them. Therefore, the government should speed up and protect them. The National Security had a meeting with these traders, and there was some sanity that really brought some relief to these traders. Now these armed robbers have started again. It's quite unfortunate that a journalist who has come into the country to come and do a documentary only to earn his life so abruptly like this is more unfortunate. But I think that the solution to this problem is that the police must intensify. In Tama, they do a joint one. The military whom the police that they do regularly in these night patrols and all that. What about the other places? The police and the military should join. But looking from Sunyani all the way to Tamale, we don't have a military military barracks over there. I know government want to establish one between Wa to the other part of the Upper West region. We have a common one big base over there that could take care of Upper West. It's all about resources. Okay. It's all about resources to set up that. So we should intensify the patrols. Okay. And those foreigners who comes into the country and they want to do something like this, they need to report to the police so the police can give them some escort. All right. Because these are international journalists. Okay. You know, when it happens like this, it doesn't give a good image for the country.
Mr. Sponsor, I'll bring you for your thoughts on this momentarily, but we want to just go down onto the ground. We are keeping an eye on some traffic situations. This morning, our colleague Nikita is on the line or in the shot, and she's going to tell us what we are keeping an eye on. Nikita, hi. Good morning. Welcome to the show. So this is live from the Kasoa interchange, bedrock of traffic in Ghana. And Nikita will be giving us a report pretty soon. Nikita, hi. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, tell us where you are, what you're doing.
And welcome to Rush Hour, where we give you live updates on the traffic situation around town. Today we are currently at the Kasoa interchange, where we can see behind me there is build-up coming from those heading towards Akwele, New Market, Ofanko. The main cause of this traffic is the trotro activity on the side. Commuters are heading towards there, but they find it difficult to move because of the trotro stopping impromptu in an impromptu way. And to my right, we can see that there is free-flowing traffic for those heading towards the Kasoa and the other destinations. We can see the taxi and pedestrians walking freely on the road. We can see a lot of commercial activity on the road. Here we start to see the interchange, and underneath the interchange we see free-flowing traffic, and we'll start to see the runabout very soon. In front of us we can see that the road that leads to Tuba, Kakraba, Hinyanyo, and its environs. And on the left, we will see that the traffic building up on one side of the runabout. On my left, we have the Kasoa police station, the Kasoa ambulance service, and the Kasoa fire station. And just ahead, we found that there were some traffic lights there, but they were faulty. They were not working at all. So police around that area were navigating traffic. Earlier on this week, we heard that there was a press release for the weekend. They had deployed a policeman to help with the traffic in this area. Talking to one of the police officials, they said there wasn't, there are inadequate personnel over there, so they had to deploy policemen from Accra to come and help with the situation. Yes, I would like to talk a bit about the Kasoa interchange. The Kasoa main interchange was completed in 2016 and spans 117 meters. It was built by the Mahama government to ease traffic on the Kasoa road as commuters from Cape Coast heading towards Accra use the interchange, avoiding the Kasoa traffic lights. The main interchange is one of the components of the $160 million Kasoa main interchange and its ancillary works, which include the construction of 2 footbridges, one at the Galilee Market and the other at the Piekuma Junction, the construction of the 33-kilometer Kasoa at Amasama Road and a lorry terminal. So that's all from the Kasoa interchange. Back to studio.
Thank you so much, Nikita, reporting from a place where the traffic is just legendary. Yeah, I was in that mix on Saturday. I did not like it. I did not like it. But I heard comments about a possible exportation of Henry Cotti to go and deal with the issues there.
Yes.
You think he can do it there?
Why not? You see, the indiscipline...
It's too much.
It's too much.
All right.
And we can make Central Region work again.
We can make it work again. All
we
right.
can replicate all the action that Henry is doing in Accra.
Okay, so if you are in Kasoa, let us know the feeling, to be in this every day. 055-556-1034. Headlines today, and front page of today's Ghanaian Times, we're looking at a journalist who has been shot dead at Kintampo, a UK journalist who came in to do a documentary. Mr. Titus Glover was talking about how some of the policemen are hesitant to be deployed because they do not have bulletproof vests. Isn't that an indictment on authorities who are supposed to equip the policemen when they do know that there are certain places where you always have armed robberies?
Yeah, good morning, good morning. Belated happy birthday.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah. See, I have lived and worked in the north for a couple of years, and that particular stretch, and it's the smoothest stretch too. I mean, like, driving wise, I mean, when you are driving, no interruption. The only thing I get scared of when I'm driving on that stretch are cattle crossing. But like headlong collision and I mean, that particular junction, that Impaha junction, is becoming very notorious for those this. And you see, if you drive from Kintampo, especially from Kintampo to Bupe, you can drive for like almost about 30 minutes to 1 hour without even seeing one village. So that is where the armed robbers take advantage to rob people. But I believe the police patrol should be increased on that stretch, and also to educate drivers that look, that area. Recently I went there and I realized that they've done some speed ramps
on the highway.
Oh, by you, Ghana, we do speed ramps everywhere. Speed ramps, you see, and that is what is now impeding the flow. Because if I am driving from Kintampo to Tamale, if you cross me, okay, because there's nothing that will make me stop. I hope you understand me. Yeah. So I believe the police should also educate the commuters, especially on that stretch. Let them know where the police checkpoints are. Because people create fake checkpoints just to rob people. And I believe it's about time the police also educate them. And talking about the life vest, the bulletproof vest. I mean, I thought they said they were going to by the end of 2020, every policeman will have. You can go out without having a bulletproof vest. What happened to that promise? I think our vice president said that every policeman by the end of 2020, before going out there, should have a well-kit. We have well-kitted policemen all around with their everything, but we are still waiting for that. But and we too, as commuters, we should be very, very observant. I mean, me, if I'm driving and a particular car is following me, I will take a detour. When he follows me, then I know that, hey, because where I'm going to is not where you. I mean, we don't take those things into.
What would you do if you saw a roadblock that you suspected was an illegal one?
It will depend on the vehicle I'm driving.
Meaning?
No, you see, let's say I'm driving a Toyota Camry, and there is a blockage. I mean, looking, I'll just maybe give them a highlight, see exactly what is there. You know, first, you see, because they can dress in police uniforms, you can't tell. But if I know that place there shouldn't be a police checkpoint there. Seriously, I would drive through. I would drive through. You see, because Central Region, because I go to Central Region almost every time, I know where the police checkpoints are. So if I'm driving late in the night, I know where to stop and where not to stop. Hope you understand me. He was talking about he went to visit his daughter twice. You know me, if I'm going to Central Region, I make sure I leave home Friday around after lunch, 12:31. I drive, no traffic. I'll go and sleep. My house later on, I'll go and do what I want, whatever I came to the region to do. But that Saturday morning, like your lady was saying, the Saturday morning and Friday evening from 5 o'clock to like 9.
Don't try it.
Oh, master, from here to Winneba, you spend almost about. And now the traffic is not. You see, the traffic is not at Kasoa now.
No, it's moved.
It's moved from Kasoa to between Burnaboy and Ekuti Junction. That is where the traffic is moved to. You understand me? Why? Because that road is not good, and people join the route from. You see where the Yomat is. You know, people join. Back. So you realize that. So now even police people are standing on those junctions, allow a little traffic from here, a little. But I believe I'm marrying the two.
Yes, indeed.
I believe our policemen should be well kitted. You understand? Because if you are going out with all that full metal jacket or full armor. Vest, you know, you have that confidence. Yep. You understand me? Because when you are engaged and you are engaging these armed robbers, they don't care about themselves. They just, I mean, sometimes you know. But I like the way they are being killed. I mean, like they shoot them. I mean, yesterday they shot 2 armed robbers. You see, they are taking the police for granted, and I believe it's about time the police get tough. And we, the citizens, we should also help the police by at least, because we live with them. I mean, we know them. Yeah. Unless maybe they are Piccadilly armed robbers that we.
What's a Piccadilly armed robber?
We don't know a Piccadilly armed robber. They say a Piccadilly armed robber. It's just a short story. A colleague of mine told. He said a guy completed school. University for almost 2 years. There was no work for him. So when he came back and told the father that, look, Dad, I want to be an armed robber. The father convinced this guy. This guy said he still wants to be an armed robber. Say, okay, you know what? Sit down, my son. No, I'm a retired armed robber myself. But if you want to go into robbery, make sure every day you wear white shirts. Make sure you go to church every Sunday. Make sure you play gospel music in your house loud enough for the neighbors to hear. Anytime they arrest you, they will come to your defense that no, this guy is too clean to be an armed robber. Those people you can't. You don't know the story.
No, I don't.
You know the story. No, it's not a new story. It was Honorable Adongo that said this story.
Oh, I see.
He said it because of our finance minister.
We rest there. We go to the next story.
This armed robbery police issue, it's a very serious matter.
Yes.
I recall when this Jamestown robbery officer was shot.
Yeah, the bullion attack.
That was when the then IGP, Opombwenu, said that the bank should be prepared to get a proper armored, vehicle that could convey their money. And also the police were in the process of acquiring bulletproof vests for all the police officers. I believe he has started the process. Some were given out to the police officers. Now that our brother and our friend, the new IGP, has taken over, we'll plead with him. He should up his game. He should find out. Particularly those who are going on patrols, night patrols, those who are going on anti-armed robbery operations.
And he was on night patrol over the weekend.
I saw him on social media, yes.
Night patrols.
I saw it on social media. I give him thumbs up for that.
Some of us met him at Islego.
Really? You don't even know that it's him?
In the night.
He drives without the police motorcade.
Okay.
Yes. Quietly in the Nandos or nothing.
He will be the traffic just like that.
Observing whatever is going on. So we'll give him thumbs up for that. So those who are going on critical operations, they should make sure they send them this whilst they make efforts to bring more to be given to every police officer.
Hashtag GTV breakfast. Our WhatsApp number is 055-556-1034. Robberies on the highways. If you live in those communities, that Pahar, the whole area, and other parts of Ghana, I would like to get your suggestions on how these things can be curbed, how we can solve them once and for all. Is it about resources? Is it about more patrols? Is it about more intelligence from the community? Would you give out that information about armed robbers, former or present, in your neighborhood? Let us know, 055-556-1034. To the Business and Financial Times, which doesn't have a business story on the front page, but it's a critical one. Drug addiction among health personnel rising. 2 nurses die in 1 week. Page 3, today's BFT. So it's a worrying menace, which is said to be prevalent in private and public facilities across the country. Came into sharp focus after 2 nurses in just 1 week were found dead after being addicts for years. One was a former staff of the Konfanochi Teaching Hospital in the region, who was sacked after his addiction got the attention of the hospital's authorities. The other was sanctioned by the Mampubi Polyclinic in Greater Accra for a similar offense. So they are being hooked on drugs such as pethidine and midazolam, both prescription drugs. They either steal or prescribe them to patients they know who do not need them and later take them back to satisfy their addiction tendency. So the president of the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association, Perpetual Ofori Ampofu, in an interview with the BFT, said the development is disturbing, but the most worrying aspect is that there is not enough data. So our health personnel, some of them are getting addicted on the drugs. 2 nurses die in 1 week. There's not enough data. It seems the solution for enough data is staring in our face, isn't it?
Yeah.
Get more data, or?
Yeah, I mean, data is everything. I mean, you to start with, any planning project or planning of any project or any program, you need data. At least the data is going to inform the way you go. But this drug addiction, I think they should be looking into our schools too. No, because these ones are maybe the cheapest drugs that you can find around, the codeine, the tramadol, and I mean some unorthodox drugs. I mean drugs that things that you don't know will get you high. People are getting high on. I hope you understand me. I mean now people are linked. People even have what they call the laughing gas thing that they serve at places. Why would I go and buy laughing gas? I mean, but our boys and girls are buying into those things. Some will just go and buy glue and just be sniffing the glue. I mean, it's the drug thing is getting out of hand, and I believe it's about time, especially from the school authorities should be looking out for symptoms, especially students with symptoms of drug use, and try to talk to them. Or I mean, because seriously speaking, you go to some areas and you see the kind of, you think you've entered into a zombie land.
All the kids are spaced up. You know?
I mean, you see them, they are high, and they walk like zombies. I mean, so I don't know. And it's heartbreaking. I mean, if you see the youth of the country going that way, not talking about professionals who are nurses, they should know better. But hey, you don't know. It's out of maybe we don't. You see, one thing we don't have is like a counseling session at workplaces. You know, they think once you have a job, you should be okay. But people are working all right, but other things are eating them up, and they will take refuge in anything that gives them a little comfort. Instead of them maybe depending on God and blah blah, they will go for something else that will, oh, if I take this drug, I feel relaxed. That is how it starts.
So what I'm hearing from you is that the problem needs to be tackled even from the school. From the schools. Before people even get out and start working. Yeah. And then while people are working, there needs to be on-site counseling facilities for people who are working.
Definitely. You say, how many people will call you that are, like your boss will call you and say, look, Aquinas, you've been too dull lately. I mean, anything to talk about? No. I mean, all they think about is the work. They don't think about you. You've changed your demeanor, and I mean, but we have to be looking out for those things. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Titus Glover.
Kafui, it's unfortunate that our health professionals who could be the intermediary between the patients and the problem in which they find themselves are rather found wanting in the very problem that they should have assisted these patients or people who are going wayward in terms of drug addiction and all that. I believe that the facility in which these two nurses are working might have had history about the addiction. Okay, from the reports that you read to us, it means that the facility where they are working, they have history about their background, that they are addicts. What effort did this facility provided to these nurses? If they did not, then I think that the facility did not help these nurses.
They failed the nurses?
Absolutely. Because if he knew that these nurses are on drugs, taking certain medications that they are not prescribed for, and they use this for their own, whatever you call it, and you are not helping them to get out of it, I believe that the facility has failed. And again, their family, we need to interrogate to find out what are the causes of some of these things that is happening. This one is only for these nurses that we have seen. And we're also talking about data. What about those out there who are on these wrong drugs they are taking without anybody knowing? People are going through psychological trauma. They are going through a lot of challenges and problems. But because they are quiet and they are not sharing, my mother tells me that she was with me last night, and she was saying that if you have a problem, in one of our conversations that we were talking, he said, look, if you're in a problem and you don't share, how will people know? You need to speak up. Maybe somebody may have some nice idea or suggestion that could contribute in helping you to solve these problems. You share. So it is very, very difficult for anybody to come out. I will agree with senior partners by saying that in trying to resolve some of these addictions, it should come from our schools, particularly from the SHS. There are a lot of children who are coming from so many communities. They are coming from various homes, and they come to school. They see some of these addictions. Some may have relatives involved in these addictions. So when we are able to let these children know that when you go and touch these drugs, when you go and involve in these things, it can lead you into self-destruction. So gradually, when we build it up from there, I believe that there's a way that will at least to care. But the onus is on you, the individual. People will come to the schools and come and talk. Your parents can talk to you. If you are not able to stand on your own feet, and your friends could not even influence you, my brother, you are gone. You go to school and you have some friends from other homes who are come and involve all kinds of behavior. I know where I'm coming from. And I know that if I go and involve myself in these things, my father will kill me. So I will not even go and touch or involve myself in any kind of bad company that will affect my life. There are some of our mates, when you see them on the street, you even ask them, why did it happen? But whatever education that is done, counseling sections, counseling offices that is created, whether in the workplaces or whatever, the decision is a personal one.
So personal responsibility, the influence of the family, on-site counseling at workplaces, and then focusing, keeping an eye on the schools. And a comment is coming on 055-556-1034. On the drugs, the government should pay attention to the universities in Ghana. Drug abuse has become normal among the youth, especially smoking. Some school authorities know that, and it must be tackled ASAP. Another comment here, please add your names and where you are sending us the message from, so we can also gather data, because as Mr. Taylor said, data is where you just have to gather it, okay? Please, some of the police are armed robbers, and so they connive with other robbers to rob people. They even give them their guns to go and rob with them, and then they share. Think of a story of a police officer who said he was going on night patrols, and he realized that one particular officer in the patrols used to smile at him, you know, smile at him, wondering. And then one day the man comes up to him, fellow officer, new officer on the patrol, and says, oh, we are on the same team now. And then he's thinking, why is he saying we're on the same team? We're all police officers. And then he finds out that he does his checks and finds out this person was a robber, robbed somewhere in some other part of the country, and managed to find himself inside the police. Mm-hmm. So now we're on the same team. Oh, will you feel safe if you're going on patrol with this guy behind you? You know,
we should have reported him immediately. He should have reported him.
So some of these things, these stories are actually quite scary. Another comment here, a little education. The jackets are not bulletproof jackets. They're called flak vests or jackets, really. I always thought they were called bulletproof jackets, but somebody is educating me here. So Fred, thank you for education, Fred.
This what?
You see, they are called flak jackets. Flak vests or jackets. They're not bulletproof. They're supposed to ward bullets, aren't they? Yeah. Well, we're learning. Maybe it's a sin on them. Who knows? All right. Thanks for the education, Fred. We learn every day. More stories to deal with before we wrap up the headlines. I want to give you a flavor of. Okay. So let's do some small politics. Since you're both politicians. Breaking the 8-year jinx. Never overlook cries of hardship. Afenyo Markin tells Majority Caucus. It's the front page of today's publisher. So there's a whole talk about break the 8. So Deputy Majority Leader in Parliament, Member of Parliament for Efutu constituency, Alexander Afenyo Markin, has asked the NPP not to be quick in dismissing or treating with disdain and contempt several complaints of economic hardship from a section of Ghanaians, and some of these complaints may be a true reflection of the realities faced by the very persons who voted the party into government. He says that, I quote, I urge everyone to see such comments, both good and bad, as stark reminders that while we have done a lot at various levels to transform our country and her economy fundamentally, there's still much work to be done. We must do this duty with the zeal of a religious fanatic. So this was Afenyo Markin talking at a 3-day workshop for the Majority Caucus held in Abetifi in the eastern region, and there was some wala in the eastern region also with some clash. But let's deal with this first. So never overlook the cries of hardship. Is that what sent the NDC into opposition? Overlooking the cries of hardship from Ghanaians in 2016?
No. You see, we didn't overlook the hardship of Ghanaians. What worked out in 2016 was truth over lies. You know, there were so many lies that were said, and people bought into those lies.
What is the difference? Is that the power of lies over truth?
Yes. Do you know the power of lies? Somebody can say one lie about you. Before you, it will take you about 15 years. The person said it within 2 minutes. But you will take about 15 years to come out from. But yeah, I wouldn't say then when we were in power everything was that rosy, but we were then coming out. All reports shows that we've built the foundation and we are coming out of the woods. But people came with lofty promises, and we love people who promise. I mean, people came in, people were even named King Promise and others. I mean, they promised heaven on earth. You understand me? But you see, sometimes they say who feels it knows it. I mean, when you are in the seat, then reality check 1, 2, 3. I hope you understand me. So what he is trying to tell people, look, yes, there were cries during those times that, oh, there were things that were not going right, and sometimes we, the politicians, the way we tackle those things will either give the people hope or make them hopeless. We, as a party, or then as a government, we were trying. I mean, we laid down those foundations, thinking that, oh, 2016 we're going to win for us to move the country to the next level. But my brother, they came in with, I mean, beautiful promises, and Ghanaians bought into those promises, and here we are today. A lot of things that they said, I don't know when they will be done, but Ghanaians they've tested both, and 2024 will be very beautiful. I mean, you've been there for 8 years, I've been there for 8 years. Let's put our records together and see whether they can break the 8 or not. But what Afenyo is telling his colleagues, he feels it. He's from a rural constituency, Simpa, and Winneba. It's, I mean, like, definitely he's been feeling the flack. I mean, they've been calling him, telling him, look, now fuel increases comes just like you wake up in the morning, you get to the pump, and 1 cedi plus addition. The next 2 days you go and I mean, so people are feeling it. The hardship that people are feeling now is not what the MPP promised.
So he's giving good advice. Never overlook cries of hardship. Because
the cries are real. I mean, people are feeling it.
All right.
Look, it's you know, it's easier when you are on the other side and you can talk freely. But you see, when the people...
Like you.
No, me, I've been there. You see, if you've not been there, sometimes talking becomes cheap. Look, we were here, they told us 18 months. They are going to transform this country to where we've never seen before. 18 months. You see, that is why I will always like to caution politicians. Don't bite more than you can chew. You see, promises, you know, they are free. You can just say things, but in today's world that we live, now Dr. Bawumia will go and stand somewhere and say something. Then people go back, because now we have those things. People will go back to 2014, 2013, then bring up a video. The same man was saying this thing was because of incompetence, and because of this, and now the same thing is happening. Then you give it a new name. I mean, hey, we have to be truthful to Ghanaians. People are suffering. I won't lie to you.
Let me go to Mr. Titus Glover. So, Mr. Afenyo is warning your party to not overlook cries of hardship if you want to break the 8-year jinx. Are you feeling the heat?
Thank you so much, my brother. It's a very legitimate concern that he has raised. You can't pretend to be an ostrich. Let's face the reality. When people are talking about their problems, it is good that as a government we give a listening ear.
Is the government listening?
Yes, of course, it's listening, and we'll take a good clue of what happened to the NDC. My brother is saying that we lied, and I want to find out if the growth of this economy at your time was 3.7% with oil. I mean, with all these things that we are talking about, where did you find ourselves into? We're in this country when the NDC subjected us into total darkness. 4 years. Kafui, 4 years in this country. Businesses collapse. Ordinary barbers, seamstresses, hairdressers, welders, not even talking about big time industries. You come to GBC here and you have generators all around, all making noise. The little money that you have to go and buy diesel to power all these machines. We're in this country. What didn't cause that to happen? So clearly it is your actions and inactions that cause you to lose power. Okay? So when you have a government of Akufo-Addo who has been bequeathed with these developments, there's a need for him to turn things around. Look at the banking crisis. We have the whole Bank of Ghana sitting down who should superintend the actions of these directors of these banks. They stand aloof. And depositors' money have to be taken off. Use these monies the way they like.
Were the people of the Bank of Ghana punished? Did people lose their jobs for sleeping on the job?
They were in power. It is their duty as a vice president then became a president successfully. It is your duty to make sure that the Bank of Ghana was doing what was right at the time. When we have done the cleanup, the president has promised that
but those sleeping on the job, were they revived? Were they punished for sleeping on behind the wheel?
They are preparing them for court. That's what I know.
Not the bank. The people who are supervising. What happened to them?
In their time, our time.
Your time.
Yes, the Bank of Ghana leadership has been changed, and today you could see the sanity, the way the banking institute, all these banks that were amalgamated. Now look at CBG, look at Ghana Commercial Bank. Now they are performing, making sure that whatever they are supposed to do, they don't go to sleep, to make sure that the deposited money is protected. Hey, what did you promise? In this country, the most important value asset of this country is human capital development. When Nanado was talking about the free SHS, my brother here, maybe he did not do it. They spend money, colossal amount of money, adverts. That look, free SHS was not good. That it was a bad social intervention policy.
That's not true.
Cool down.
That's not
Please,
true.
cool down. See, cool down. They even high school children. I don't even know that region, that district where these children were used. And you have teachers in this district line up school children singing this song, free education 419, free education. Yes, it's happening in this country. But today, thank God, that vision that the president had has brought relief. He was an MP. He was my senior. Let them open school. You see them lining up in your homes, either in your private office, in your parliamentary office, in your ministerial office, even in your home. They'll lie to give them money to go and pay school fees. Today it is gone. I admit that there are some challenges in terms of infrastructure that government is supporting. When I was in the 7th Parliament, $1.5 billion was sourced to put up various infrastructure in all these schools and all that. So, whatever we have promised, we are delivering. Number two, you took this economy into IMF because you say you lack credibility. Because the economy was collapsing. So you have to go to Senche, Bimale. Didn't they go to Senche to seek ideas as to what we wanted to do? We end up finding the IMF. It took the hard work of this government and Akufo-Addo to take us out of the IMF.
And where are we
to
now?
make sure, please, if NDC had been in power today, in this COVID times, as well, wallahi, I don't know who this economy would have gone to. Trust me, if NDC is handling this economy the way we have done, you look at all over the world where this recession and this economy is the way they are all crashing. We had a success trade surplus from 2017, 2018, and 2019. The average growth of Akufo-Addo economy was about 7%. Then came COVID, that crap came down to 0.9%.
But why are people talking about hardship and everything is rosy?
One, government jobs are choked. Everybody wants to work in government institutions, including here GBC. Students who are finished from journalism, they all want to come and work here. That is why there is a new paradigm. The Nkrumah style of industrialization has been changed. Because government institutions are not the best managers of the enterprise. That is why he has partnered with the private sector. That is, this 1DYF is gradually putting up industries in all these areas with the support of government. And out of the 200 and something we promised, over 103 has been active and working now. So that is how we wanted to do. Add value to whatever we produce in this country.
So why are people still complaining about that?
People are complaining because government need to do more. But Rome was not built in a day. Rome was not built in a day. So gradually, we are getting there. So what can we do? With the need for us to let our people know that it is not only white-collar jobs. There are a lot of graduates who have finished school, who decided not to go to government institutions. But as a graduate, any graduate that is trained, including myself, we need to put our heads together to see what we can do and take ourselves on white-collar jobs. This Cocoa King, who thought that this Cocoa King can be able to put up a good, brilliant investment like that? We need to think outside the box and see what we could do. In your time, we have graduate unemployment. Oh, please, it's better than your time. It's better than your time. You will raise your hand in despair.
We didn't raise our hands in despair.
We are
trying to wrap up, so I have to answer the question.
There's a conversation on Afghanistan and Africa and why that is important to us.
We'll go to Afghanistan.
Go on. We'll be speaking with in a short while. So kind of wrap it up for me.
Yeah, he was speaking about the free SHS. And,
didn't your nephew benefit?
No, my nephew.
He didn't benefit.
No, I'm coming.
I know your nephews and grandchildren benefited.
You see, the free SHS was it's a good thing, and it's something that we started. We started because you see.
What did you start?
We started with
the gun. Were you paying?
Oh, master.
Senior, were you paying?
Master, wait.
You were the minister. Were you paying?
But we started with the day schools. All the day schools were free. All the day schools were free.
Were you paying what you're supposed to send to the schools?
Listen, we were paying. Now you send students home because they don't even have food in the schools, and you tell me that you are doing magical. Look, let me tell you one thing. It's always good to talk, but sometimes face the truth. Look, this free SHS, we all believe that eventually free SHS will help the country, but we shouldn't have rushed it through. Let's take our time. You see, the day students we were building more day secondary schools, so that you realize that I made that comment somewhere in 2017, and I was roasted. 2 years down the line, their finance minister came to sit on TV and said the same thing. I said, look, we have the data to suggest, to know which families are poor. Let's support them. And look, if me and you, our children, when your children are going to GHS, you pay over 2,000 for one person to go to GHS. When he gets to secondary school, the 800 Ghana that you can pay, you will pay. But genuinely, we have people who cannot pay, genuinely. No, we pay people leap. We pay people leap. Don't we? These are people, we have the data that suggests that these people are underprivileged. Government give them stipends at the end of every month. The list is there. The same people, they go to hospital for free. They get the NHIS card for free. Anyone under LEAP gets those ones for free. So why can't we just rope those people into the free SHS? Their wards will go to school free. As gradually we move into, look,
it was a major campaign promise.
I know, but yes. So, but you don't have to use our children as guinea pigs. And look at the standard of education. And you think we are doing anything good? Look at the standard of education today, and look at that of yesterday. You realize that today, look, the boys in my area, you see them working. They didn't go to school. They say, oh. I went to my village in Leklebi, and I saw those boys who were in secondary school. Leklebi, all I can say, Leklebi, and you know one funny thing, when I was like, what is going on? They say, oh, but 2 weeks ago I came, you were here and said we're going to school. They said we finished 3 weeks, we have to come home for the next group to go. I mean, look, we don't need to play that game. You see, yes, I made a promise. And are all the promises they are fulfilling? No. They were to build 350 new secondary schools from scratch in their first 4 years. What happened? Not even one single secondary school was built. So if you say the untruth, to pave way for you to come, at the end of the day, make sure at least you meet it. We said we were going to build 200. We built some. Okay. They said they were building 350 in the first 4 years, so not even single one.
Yes, they're now sounding like a local expert. Mr. Kwaisa, I think I'll have to leave it here. I need him to just respond quickly before we go.
Kafui, the point is that Afenyo has hit the nail right in the head. It's a good statement that government should be concerned about it. This election taught us a lot of things. It's not only about infrastructure. Sometimes it's about bread and butter issues. But I want to assure them the government is not sleeping.
Okay.
The government and Akufo-Addo is working so hard to continue to bring relief to our people. They should have full confidence in this government. And I believe that the sky is the limit.
Thank you.
But you to tell Aquinas, I drove with our late colleague, my in-law, JB Dankwa, where they have built what they call it, the Mama's Science E-Block, from the Ekunfi Junction to where they have sited the school. Then from where the school is sited to the coast of Utuam. He knows the distance I'm talking about.
I'm from Utuam, so you are not
cool down.
We're almost done. So
I'm telling you, if they have turned that into a boarding house, because when we came, we realized that running a day student in that facility would not be ideal.
All right.
So we put up infrastructure to boardingize these students. But you need to use bus to take these children from the junction of all the from Tom to feed.
We have 2,500 students there now.
Please,
2,500 students. I didn't know in that school. Where would they there?
And we're out of time. Just
so
please, other headlines: MPP supporters clash at funeral. 2 injured. MP's driver slashes man's head. That's the story up there. Let's remind Ghanaians of MPP success stories. VP Baumia to MPs. That's one headline over there. We've got over 900,000 workers' data merged on SNIT and NIA card. That sounds really good. Consider pension during negotiations, said the SNIT boss. Debate on low benefits. And 3 local companies ready to produce COVID-19 vaccine, which sounds like great news for me. Ghana exported 70,000 plus metric tons of staple foods to neighboring countries in 2020. The $1 billion from IMF has arrived. And accident victims will be paid 6.2 cedis daily for 1 year as temporary disability cover. When you multiply 6.2 by 365, you get about 2,200 cedis over the year. Temporary disability cover. What can that cover? That's a question that I would like to ask. And I want to just go through a couple of messages that have come in. So this is Martin from Ashaiman. Can I report a police or security person who is doing drugs and operating with armed robbers? Where and how can I report? I'm saying this because I've reported cases like this to a nearby police station, but nothing has happened. We'll get back to you. We need it. That's a good lead. We'll follow pretty soon. A family has a lot to do in terms of students. Every student has a parent. They spend very few days with their teachers. We're not even allowed to cane any student until a teacher writes an undertaking to justify why a student has to be punished. Now the system is every person for himself, God for us, or gone are the days when there were proper discipline and severe punishment methods in our schools. How do you see students' involvement in serious cases? Thank you very much. Please, thank you very much. Please, you want to check free SHS results. The Vice President's region doesn't even have one student qualified for post-secondary school. We'll have to check that to make sure that you are telling us what is true. Good. The drug abuse issue has to be checked from homes, schools, and workplaces. These days, most of the drugs abused are over-the-counter drugs, which have been prescribed by doctors. And some of the pharmacies are failing us by selling unprescribed drugs. Couple more before I let you go, gentlemen. So, politicians are our problem. They send their men to be recruited into the police, and they let competent men and women pass by. So we should stop recruiting, say, SHS graduates into the police. It must stop right now. They throw out forms, yet take huge amounts for protocol. They can't lie to the camera. In Europe, it is free to join the police service, but in Ghana, you have to go through hell. So officers tend to be corrupt, and SHS graduates can't come and fight crime now. Crime is scientific, it's not booga booga. So thank you very much. Give us your name and where you are sending us the messages from so that we can acknowledge you properly. Thank you so much. That has been Headlines, and my guests have been Mr. Daniel Nikwate Titus Glover, former Deputy Transport Minister, former MP for Tema East, and Mr. Aquinas Tiga Kwanzaa, former MP for the good people of Afansiman and former Central Regional Minister. I want to say thank you very much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your day. When we return, we're keeping an eye on things happening in Kasoa, and then there's a very interesting sit-down that Thelma will be having with Dr. Vladimir Entry Dansu. I wanted to say something in Russian. Okay, I know truth. Pravda. Spasiba. Spasiba is thank you very much. We'll be right back. Don't go. Yes, in Russian. Spasiba. Back soon. Don't go anywhere.
Peseye dawasio eja ye kutuo nyamiye eseseye dawa sio
Good to have you here. Good morning. Happy birthday to you. Rosemary Anakwa Buedu from Bernard Atu Ashale. God's blessings from all of us right here. Before the conversation on Afghanistan, Africa, and why you should be concerned, and on the yoga issues, and on the national service issues, we'd like to get back onto the ground and see what's happening in the system. My colleague Alan is somewhere in the central region, I believe. Alan, hi, good morning. Welcome.
Hello, good morning, Kafui, and good morning, Ghana. Welcome to the central region. We are coming to you live from the Iron City in Kasoa. Iron City is so called because you will recall in the 1980s and 90s, when Ghana held the non-aligned movement NAM conference, the men and women who work or ply the trade around Konkompe in Dakuma were relocated in order to keep the place a sightly one for visitors who are visiting Ghana for the conference. Indeed, Iron City has grown and has developed so far, but then it doesn't come without its own troubles and problems. Three key problems were told persist here. We made an attempt to locate the assemblyman. Unfortunately, he happens to live outside of his electoral patch. He lives in Koforidua, but then he is the assemblyman for the Iron City electoral area where we are. Interestingly, we had some members of the community, the chairman of the Landlords Association with us, as well as some of the men who belong to the chairman and his team, to speak to us about the problems and issues they faced within this area. Interesting to note that what they have as their major problem, one is security, two is sanitation, and three is development in the area. So I'll bring on Mr. Obing Mensah, who is the chairman of the Landlords Association, to speak to the issues as I have mentioned. Mr. Mensah, please join me, and please stand next to me, and you're speaking to the camera. Okay, so Mr. Mensah, you mentioned key among them is the issue to do with landguards and the way they attack members of this community. Why and how is that affecting especially members of this community?
It is happening, it's affected so much, that development, because you get scared when you are attacked. It is becoming a yearly affair. Anytime there is an attempt, for us to maybe press conference like this, they could even walk in now and there will be a problem. So it is scaring away potential investors, especially our members, who still have to remain at Kokompe because of this type of life. So we are appealing to you to please see to it that something is done for us. Not that alone. I may add, we have a very big, we have reserved 7 acres of land for school projects and other developments, but all have been captured by land guards. We don't want to mention names where they come from anyway. They themselves will know themselves that we are suffering a lot. Our lands are being just developed haphazardly. You can't do anything about it because we are scared we'll be attacked. You could be home and you'll be attacked. Wow. At least if we can't count at all, we may count about 5, 6, 7 people have been killed here.
Wow. Thank you, Mr. Mensah. This is to do with security, and the Landlords Association is pleading, especially with the authorities, the MP, the district assembly, and the assemblyman, to stand up and be counted and ensure the security of their people. Mr. Asante is also a member of the community who also speaks to certain issues, especially to do with sanitation. We're going to bring on Mr. Asante, but to my left, I'm going to go straight to my left. I'll ask Mr. Asante to hold on while I speak to Mr. Danso. I'll speak to Mr. Danso. I'll speak to Mr. Danso, especially. Sorry, there's a car oncoming vehicle, and that's why we're having to. But if we go to my left, there is an ongoing roadworks, and this, they explain, poses a certain inconvenience to members of the community who live on that stretch of the road. Apparently, this very construction has been ongoing for over a year, and that is becoming a problem to members. Mr. Danso, thank you and welcome to GTV Breakfast.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Danso, behind us, affect members of this community.
Yeah, well, the powers and the principalities have attacked the sound, but we shall exorcise them in the name of Jesus. That was Alan reporting from Iron City in the central region, the Kasoa part of Kasoa, where you have an assemblyman who lives in Koforidua, but he's an assemblyman for the people in Iron City. I just checked the distance. It's 112 kilometers between Koforidua and Kasoa. The only thing they have in common is that they all start with a K. Let's get back to Alan and find out exactly what is happening with that road. Alan, back to you.
All right, so welcome back, Kafi, and interesting, but Mr. Danso is still with me, and as he mentioned earlier, the construction of this road, the stake, has been unduly long, and that is posing a certain inconvenience to members who live along that stretch of road. Not only that, but also an issue to do with sanitation land, marked a land there dedicated for dumping of refuse, but it has been encroached upon by landguards, and currently, as I speak to you, it is being developed by someone they do not necessarily really know. Mr. Danso, thank you and welcome.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, as you're saying, this is a well-planned community.
I love it. I love it. I mean, this is keche, you know. This is what we'll call keche, you know, to keep your morning very excited, you know, and interesting and exciting. So you stay with us. I'll read a couple of comments while we try and sort that out. So this is a message coming from Citizen at Elubo. It says, good morning, thanks for the fantastic show. Security agencies, especially the immigration officers, are extorting money from foreigners who travel from the Ivory Coast side of the border to Ghana. Meanwhile, the land borders have been closed due to the pandemic. And in fact, on Friday, there was a demonstration in the Ketu South area demanding that the land borders be opened. There's nothing like border closure here in Olubo. In a day, about 3 passenger buses leave here to Aflao border and Aflao to Elubo. So between Aflao and Elubo, there's action going on. National security must step in because it's getting out of hand. Citizen at Elubo sending us that comment on 055-556-1034. Couple more comments here. Humphrey from Tema Community 22 talking about the government paying attention to the drug problem in the schools, in the offices as well. And then also parents must also take the problem seriously from home. Couple more messages coming in 055-556-1034. There's a birthday message here to Honorable Daniel Ni Kwate Titus Glover from Jaden Asida Titus Glover Amoa. Conversations coming up on Afghanistan, national service, and yoga. What a buffet. Let's see whether we can get back to that again for the very last time. We've prayed. Hopefully this time it will stay. Alan.
Mr. Danso, as you were telling me, you have a boundary issue between South and Utu Senya. How are you getting these two authorities or local authorities to collaborate for your own development?
Yeah, we have several meetings with them. At one point in time, our MC here in Utu Senya and the MC in Gassard, we have to have a meeting with them. We organized, we sat down, we talked about it, but up to now we've not heard anything. We decided to see the local government. In fact, this issue did not start this year. This issue started somewhere in 2000, and it emanated from them building police stations here. The problem started when they brought police station here, indicating that here is out. That is where they started to encroach it. That is 2000. And from then to now, it has worried us. So we can see that it is the police station that is bringing problem. So they should just take the police station out of our community, and then we will have Iron City in the Utu Senya. We'll be safe.
Thank you very much, Mr. Danso, for speaking to us. Yes, as you can hear, these are the worrying issues that are affecting the members of the community here in the central region, specifically Iron City. They are appealing to authorities to come to their aid, get a certain understanding or agreement so that people in this community will belong where they feel they belong, which is Ewutu Senya and not Ghana South. Thank you very much for having us, and back to you in the studio, Kafui.
Yes, Alan, I'm just wondering whether if we have to track this assemblyman down, we have to go to Cove Town for him to talk about issues in Kasoa. That's just my worry. But thank you very much. for the report. Very well and noted. Just before we go for a break, I am now going to report a couple of errant drivers who made our experience very, very bad on the road from Cape Coast coming to Accra on Saturday. Around the Gomwa area, it was bedlam, mayhem, confusion, and chaos, all rolled into one. At some point in time, a single lane road, because it's not a dual carriageway, so we had only one lane going towards Accra. Everybody else was doing the wrong thing. The shoulder was occupied. The lane coming towards Cape Coast was occupied by people driving towards Accra, and the other shoulder too was also occupied by people. And I visually arrested a couple of vehicles. Ghana Railway Company, please check your vehicle. The vehicle number is GT277918. GT277918. They were all laughing and smiling when they were passing by, and I said, you guys, I'll feature you on my show this morning. So I've just featured them. There was a pastoral council vehicle. I couldn't even believe it. I rolled down, I said, which church do you guys belong to? They were about to reveal the name of the church, and they realized that this thing will not be too good. But I do remember there was a white vehicle with pastoral council inscribed on it. It's a white Hyundai van, GW829612. GW829612. White Hyundai van, pastoral council. You should be ashamed of yourself. I asked them, are you going to church tomorrow? Are you going to church tomorrow? They say, yes. Which church? Then they froze. Okay, so that is my report today, GW829612. When we come back, we're not talking church, we're not talking Kasoa, we're talking Afghanistan, we're talking national service, and later on we're talking yoga as well. This is hashtag GTV Breakfast. This is Officer Kaf, having reported the errand drivers, signing off for now, but returning later for the rest of the show. Don't go anywhere. You're doing the right thing.
Me Herade ye pese ye dawasio eja ye kutuo nyami ese se ye da
U.S. troops were killed, and that attack has been claimed by a local branch of Islamic State called ISK Is it a warning for America to stay a bit longer? What do you make of the statement by U.S. President, "We will not forgive, we will not forget, we will hunt you down and make you pay"? So those were the words of U.S. President Joe Biden after that attack on Kabul airport last week. Is that an indication that the war is far from over? It's a question on many people's minds. And this morning we're joined by one who understands the issues better than you and I, and he will help us appreciate them better, Dr. Vladimir Entry Danso. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Dr. Entry Danso is the Dean and Director of the Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College here in Accra. Thank you once again for coming. And I always start, a couple of weeks ago we engaged Dr. Bombande on this matter. Right. And I asked him, how far have we come 20 years on from September 11, when the U.S. went to war with Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, search for weapons of mass destruction? It appears that all that has culminated into what we're seeing today, doesn't it?
Well, that is very right in the sense that the UN embarked upon a certain war for which strategy and preparations were all wrong. At times, lies and intimidation and all kinds of tools in the war tools box have been used to prosecute the war on terror. And as I said, the calculations were wrong, extremely wrong, because the Taliban is not, in my thinking, a terrorist organization as such. What was a terrorist organization is the Al-Qaeda. But the Taliban is a well-glued political organization. They were in power. And so they would fight in a nationalistic way for their country.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
You're using Taliban and nationalist in the same sentence.
Yes.
Explain that.
In the first place, you see, the Taliban was in government before the U.S. looked for Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. And for the U.S., it's like the Taliban was housing the Al-Qaeda leader, Osama bin Laden. And so the U.S. went in to overthrow the Taliban. In that sense, you cannot call them a terrorist organization. They were fighting back. But the Al-Qaeda, which is a terrorist organization, which is global in nature because they were pursuing their enemy, the West. But Taliban is not a global organization. Let's make that distinction. So in analyzing the Taliban, we must be very careful as to what words we use on them. This is a government which went into hiding, and they came fighting back. Whereas the Al-Qaeda is a global terrorist organization with affiliates everywhere in the world. The Taliban in, the Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb, for example, Akim in Africa. Al-Qaeda here, Al-Qaeda, or ISIS here, ISIS there.
Or ISIL.
ISIL. ISK, that is ISIS-K, for example, Khorasan. You know, it's in Afghanistan. But you have ISIS in Mozambique. You have ISIS in DR Congo. You have ISIS in West Africa. ISWAP, as they call themselves. So here it is. Then you can call them a terrorist organization which have an agenda, a jihadist religious agenda. But the Taliban is a government overthrown, and they have come back. And therefore we must be very careful how we analyze the Afghan situation.
So the Taliban is not Al-Qaeda, is what you're saying?
No, the Taliban is not Al-Qaeda. Al-Qaeda is a completely different organization, even though some Al-Qaeda members fought on behalf of the Taliban. And it's understandable. It's their country.
Very interesting. So then, okay, the U.S. led its people into this war, and then 20 years down the line, they say, you know what, we've been here long enough. We cannot keep fighting this. We're going home. And then everything appears to have taken a downhill from there. Is that the right approach, in your opinion, for the U.S. to have taken, considering the lives that have been lost now since they announced their withdrawal?
Ab initio, everything was wrong. From the start, the mentality with which they went to Afghanistan was wrong. Miscalculations. And U.S. has always been making the same mistake. Look, it was the same thing in 1975 in Vietnam and in Iraq. in Syria, everywhere, Libya. The mentality is we're going to, conquer, then civilize the people without kind of model, culture. For example, Bush says that he was going to make Iraq the beacon of democracy in the Middle East. Did he succeed? So that mentality of going there and bringing democracy, and I've always said, in one of my articles, I said, the ballot does not stop the bullet. The moment you go in there with the war effort, and when you finish, you say, okay, come on, democracy has come, they go to the ballot. And that's what they did in Afghanistan. As soon as they got the Taliban off, and the Taliban moved into the mountains and the caves, the ballot came. Karzai was put in place as the president. And they started women in schools, this and that. Americanism, kind of Western democracy. It wouldn't work. We call it a clash of civilization. Your civilization is going to be superimposed on a people who are not receptive to your kind of civilization. And Vietnam, it didn't work. Iraq, it didn't work. Libya, and everywhere they have gone and tried to impose the ballot on the bullet, what happens is chaos. And that's what we are seeing in Afghanistan.
So we've witnessed this over the course of 4 U.S. presidencies, from President Bush to President Obama to President Trump, and now President Joe Biden. And he made some very biting comments recently, and some have said, have expressed concerns with what he said. I think we do have that footage. Let's listen to what U.S. President Joe Biden said in that press conference, and then we'll be back to ask some questions. Listen.
A tough day. These American service members who gave their lives, it's an overused word, but it's totally appropriate here, were heroes. Heroes who've been engaged in a dangerous, selfless mission to save the lives of others. We have some sense, like many of you do, what the families of these brave heroes are feeling today. You get this feeling like you're being sucked into a black hole in the middle of your chest. There's no way out. My heart aches for you. To those who carried out this attack, as well as anyone who wishes America harm, know this: we will not forgive. We will not forget. We will hunt you down and make you pay. We will not be deterred by terrorists. We will not let them stop our mission. We will continue the evacuation. I've also ordered my commanders to develop operational plans to strike ISIS-K assets, leadership, and facilities. We will respond with force and precision at our time, at the place we choose, in the moment of our choosing. Here's what you need to know. These ISIS terrorists will not win. We will rescue the Americans in there. We will get our Afghan allies out. And our mission will go on. America will not be intimidated. And I have the utmost confidence in our brave service members who continue to execute this mission with courage and honor to save lives and get Americans, our partners.
U.S. President Joe Biden speaking there. So for a Democrat president, he sounds a lot like President Bush when, soon after 9/11, when he mounted that podium and declared war on Afghanistan, Iran, and the rest. And he uses words such as, we will not forgive, we will not forget. Here's a president who campaigned on Christian virtues. So some have even asked, is this even Christian? You're saying you will never forgive. Many lives have been lost already. Is this the way to go?
Well, before I answer that directly, I would like to let you know that no American president would want to play it soft. It's the characteristic of every president to play it tough and show invincibility. Everyone, even Obama. He came soft, he wanted to end the Afghan problem, but the establishment would not allow. He wanted to end Guantanamo, he couldn't. He wanted to bring the troops from Afghanistan. He ended up having the worst troop surge. At a point in time, there was a figure of 140,000 troops in Afghanistan. So it's always that. We will not forgive, we will not forget. But let me tell you, that's a lie. They will never forgive, but they quickly forget. That's America.
Have they, looking at the number of people, American nationals who have lost their lives to the fight, and the president admitting that he feels the pain of the families that have lost loved ones?
Yes, it lost all that. That's what I say. They will quickly go in, but they quickly forget. They forgot.
We saw these scenes a bit earlier on. The troops returning home draped in the American colors, and we saw them. We saw the coffins on the flight. We saw them being brought down from the American military plane. And it brings it home for those who do not understand why America needed to go back. So can we really blame the country for making a decision they think was in the interest of their nationals on the ground?
Let me tell you, every country has what we call a center of gravity, where when you are hit, it hurts so much. Let me say Ghana, for example, the presidency, Akosombo Dam. If somebody wants to hurt us, he bombs Akosombo Dam, we hurt so much. In America, a very subtle thing, seeing a coffin being brought from outside, the whole nation, I mean, they don't want to see that. So yes, they will be angry and would want to go in again. But as I said, they quickly forget, in the sense that year in, year out, they call these ones the forever wars. America has been in war for more than 20 years, fighting in Iraq, Iran, Libya and others. And instead of thinking of how to resolve most of these issues, they will always go in again. He's promising going back, going to hit ISIL. Would that stop ISIL from also hitting back? I mean, if we want peace, let's look for peace from the peace angle, rather than from war angle. But for America, war, 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 war. That's why I say they always forget, and forget quickly. So they will have forgotten what they did, and they didn't succeed, and they would go in again. Yes, attacking your enemy because he has hit you, it's a normal international relations kind of thing. But is that the way to go all the time? Is that the way we have to play geopolitics? Because what is in Afghanistan? Let our viewers know a certain story about Afghanistan. It didn't start today. They are so nationalistic. What a character of a people go in for war, the theorists will tell us. In 335 BC, before Christ was born,
this is a history lesson, right?
Alexander the Great tried to overrun Afghanistan. He did. He established the city called Kandahar, which is a very popular city, and stayed there, conquered Afghanistan, ruled there until the Afghan people overthrew him with a spear with an arrow in the groin before he left. Genghis Khan tried to overtake Afghanistan. He couldn't. The Turks, several other people have tried. Then the Soviets were the latest somehow, who from 79 to 89 occupied Afghanistan and tried to put a puppet government for socialism to be built there. They couldn't. They left. Of course, America even helped them. Then America went in. So we must know the Afghan character. They won't accept your ruling.
So when we sit here, it's safe to assume that, well, Afghanistan is all the way over there in the Middle East, and we are here. So certainly, with oceans and continents across us, what could possibly be a reason for us to be afraid of what's going on in Afghanistan now? We
should, because post-Afghanistan, post-US invasion and that sort of thing, it affects the world in several ways, right? There was a time, somewhere in 2009, for example, because the British were embroiled in the war in Afghanistan, they left Ghana. That time we have the British military assistance team helping the Ghana armed forces. They left, they just packed back in baggage. And the reason was that the commitments in Afghanistan would not allow them to assist us anymore. So in any such situation, whether we are far away or not, something subtle will affect us. It can be assistance we are getting, say, from America, and they'll say we can tell that because we have commitment here. So we don't have to say Afghanistan is far away. Number two, immigration, the efflux from Afghanistan. Some may not come to Ghana, but some have come to Africa already, in Uganda.
Rwanda.
Who knows what they might be doing over there? Who knows whether some of them will be rich and then come to Ghana to establish some clandestine organizations to support a certain cause somewhere. So there are several other ways in which we can be affected.
In the sub-region, we have, for example, Boko Haram swearing affiliation to some of these terrorist groups, ISIS in particular, and looking at the security situation in West Africa alone. Could we say that it's a lost cause if the powerhouse of America, with all its military apparatus available to it, could not stop what's happening in Afghanistan? Is there any hope for West Africa, ECOWAS, fighting the threat of terrorism?
The scenarios are different. As I said earlier on, in Afghanistan it was a nationalistic war. In West Africa it's jihadist kind of terrorist war. The approaches should be different. And the West helping West Africa or helping any other country to deal with terrorism must have a completely different approach. These are asymmetric wars. And as you fight in Afghanistan, it was a complete, though asymmetric, it was a complete war. But in West Africa, you have all kinds of people. You have all kinds of, in West Africa, they are dotted, not less about 9 different organizations fighting different wars. In the midst of that, there are other miscreants who are like in Burkina Faso. Some of the attacks are such that it's not the jihadists as such, but they are just miscreants trying to do what they want to do. In Boko Haram also, people are taking advantage of it, kidnapping, you know, kind of. So the approaches will be different. And it is in the interest of the West to continue to help West Africa, East Africa, South Africa, wherever, North Africa, to deal with the terrorists. It's in their interest because the more they establish in these areas, the more the target to the West is easier.
And what does that mean for African prospective businesses? Because we are asking for people to invest in Africa, and yet we are faced with serious security challenges, even on our oceans.
The point is this, that African governments must set up. The fanfare must be over. They must be more serious like Rwanda is doing and things like that. Good governance and whatnot and what, to get rid of such miscreants in our midst. If we don't do that, that is what they themselves, the AU had this silencing the guns. If we don't silence the guns in Africa, we should forget about any development or any investment or whatever it is. We must silence the guns.
But can we ever really end war? We're looking at what's happening in Afghanistan, which has gone on for 20+ years. Can war really be over?
War may not necessarily be over, but you must learn how to live with wars. For example, I don't see why in a country civil wars should be a permanent feature like Boko Haram. Boko Haram is because of misgovernance in Nigeria, period. Right? If you allow more ungoverned spaces, if you allow indiscipline, and we've been warning Ghanaian governments over the period, there's so much indiscipline in Ghana. Kafi made reference to some things we may say are not difficult and the war to deal with, and that kind of road traffic accidents and whatnot. All these things are indiscipline. And there's so much indiscipline in almost all the countries. Nigeria is #1. When you have indiscipline, when you have places, no-go areas, where governed spaces, people govern themselves, not necessarily in the governance form, but they are rascals, undisciplined people. We have a place in Ghana called Dollar Power. Nobody goes there. Yes, Dollar Power is a rule on its own, and several other places. When you form clandestine, useless organizations, Kandahar Boys, Burger Bulldogs, and whatnot, these things create the condition for instability. And this is what we must be watching.
But in the midst of all our challenges, and a very quick one before we wrap, can we even offer any help at all on the global front to Afghanistan, considering the challenges that they are confronted with now?
In any case, we don't have to offer anything as such. They'll come out with some other things they might, and if we think we need to. Well, some other African countries are asking the refugees to come in and that sort of thing. I don't think we necessarily have to do that. Yes, they are in a thick problem now, but I don't think Ghana, for that matter, should offer anything at all at this point in time.
Dr. Vlad, I think we'll bring you back for an extended conversation. Sure. You sure do have a lot to say, and we have
Thank you very
a
much.
lot to listen to. Thank you so much
for having me.
Honoring our invitation, Dr. Vladimir Entry Danso, Dean and Director, Ghana Armed Forces Command and Staff College, sharing insights into what's happening in Afghanistan and what it means for us in Ghana and Africa. And he's made some profound comments, I find, saying the Taliban is a nationalist organization. I've never really thought about things in those terms, but yes, a lot to think about, and we'll keep an eye on happenings in Afghanistan. We'll bring the good doctor back to answer any questions when the need arises. You're still watching Breakfast. Are you a national service personnel? Have you been posted? Do you know where you're going? Do you have questions? This is a chat you don't want to miss. After the break, we'll be back.
Live from GBC Studio 1, this is the Breakfast Show.
Thanks for staying on, and you're still watching Breakfast on GTV. And we talk about all the things that COVID-19 has brought to us and the challenges that we have to grapple with on a daily basis, and it cuts across several sectors of the economy. And for those in academia, it is clear that the future of higher education needs rethinking in many ways. International and multilateral cooperation within the higher education sector and with policymakers, communities and other stakeholders. They will need to increase their facilities and strengthen their systems. Organizations and students themselves are now relishing the real impact of COVID-19. The closure of all schools and universities last year due to COVID-19 has also impacted the 2021-2022 national service postings. And to make matters worse, UTAG strike recently, thankfully that's been called off. How have all these things been affected, and how are organizations coping with the delayed national service postings? We understand that those postings have just been announced. So in the last 24 hours, postings have been announced, and so you should be able to get confirmation of where you are going in the next few hours. With us in the studio to help us understand where the National Service Secretariat is going in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, Dr. Gifty Owaria-Boaje, the Deputy Executive Director of the National Service Scheme. Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning.
Explain to us what has led to the delay in the release of postings until we are seeing it in the past 24 hours?
Right, thank you. Let me say a good morning to our cherished viewers. To correct something, it's not true posting has been released.
Okay.
Right, because our first process when we release posting is to send SMS to all our personnel, which has not been done. Rather, what happened was last night, as a process of always trying to see how our interface looks like, there was an opening of the interface. Obvious, there are still national service personnel who are apprehended, and they are always online trying to check if it was. So in the course of the process, some of them saw it, and as we're doing our back end, they kept opening the system. And because it's a portal issue, unless you have the NSS number and the details, you're not able to see it. So then they were able to access this, and that's what happened.
Because I'm seeing something on Twitter, and it appears to be from a page that at least is alleging to be National Service Scheme NSSG, and it's saying the NSS posting you are seeing is a system check one. We shall release the official posting on Wednesday.
Right.
Would that be from an official?
No, that's not
NSS
true. The only NSS page we have on Twitter is NSS GH. They put NSS, which has no GH on, and that one, when we release posting, like I'm saying, these are the processes we go through, and then it's not true we are releasing postings on Wednesday. So people create pages, and then they use those pages for it because you're in a digital world now.
So in years past, the service year would usually start in September.
Yeah, first working day of September.
First working day of September. It's August 30, and the postings are still not. You've just confirmed to us have not been done.
Sure.
What's happening?
It's August 30. Most schools have still not been able to complete, and then our process commences when schools complete. So you cannot do national service. When you check our Act 426, you cannot do service whilst you're a student. You're supposed to be a graduate before you do service. So obvious, the effects COVID had on academia is also having the same effect on us.
So no national service for this year?
There's no national service. So as we are speaking, that is why they could say, because almost all our processes are done. We are only waiting for schools to finally say that we are done with school, people have graduated, then we can proceed and issue, and then national service commences.
Okay, so students should look forward to that happening as soon as
schools complete. Because most schools have started completing. Some are still writing exams. Some are about to do their graduations when it's the process. So we've been in touch with the NTC and other agencies that manage these places, and then we've had several stakeholders meetings trying to see how best it would not affect anybody still schooling and have to go to work, because the point is when you start service you cannot even enroll to school when you're doing service. So we cannot let people who are already in school come out to be doing service while they have to put the two together. Yeah.
Now we are talking about getting real life work experience, which is what an opportunity the National Service Scheme provides. How would you assess its effectiveness over the years? Would you say that it has worked?
Yes, it has, because I did service. Most of us in Ghana did service, and way back the service 1 year used not to be a year accepted as your year of job experience, but now it's been accepted after the Labour Commission saga, when we had to go have an address on it that why would I have to do a full 1 year service, and you say it is not a working experience, and it's been accepted. So, and this service period is the only stop shop the student has into the real life, because it's the point where you make all your errors, where you're corrected, where you're groomed into life. Because most of the people that are completing school have never worked before, and this is the only period they get to make all the errors. Because when we used to be in school, we used to put on jeans, we used to do anything, have ear plugs in our ears whilst we go for lectures, and we thought it was normal. But then when you come out to work, you realize that these are not ethics of job. And all these things are learned when you come to do the 1 year service. At that point, everybody looks at you as the level of you are a groomer, and you're someone is trying to groom, so you become a mentee. But when you are done with service and you have a job, nobody sees you in the scope of all the errors you want to make, because for that one you're going to be taking as and when you have been employed. And this has helped it helped government to be able to stop all of the indiscipline and other stuff, because if, for instance, this year we are having about 120,000 national service personnel who are registered as we are speaking. If 120,000 people are completing school and all these people are going to be thrown on the streets without any hope of getting jobs, and they didn't have a hope of knowing that I'll enter that office to be at least to have a 1 year experience, you could imagine what would happen. And these are people who know the book, who have the pad, and they could do anything. Now we have digital world, social media and everything. So national service becomes a proper economic structure for every government.
Right, so many questions pouring in already on our WhatsApp line. It's 0555561034, and questions are coming in. Let me quickly say that we will be joined by the Vice SRC President of the Ghana Telecom University, Jerry Kweku Adehe. He will share perspectives from students, and we'll get to you, Jerry, in a little while. Here are a few questions for you, ma'am. Good morning. Can one offer national service in his own company or with his own project? What are the procedures and processes, if yes? And is there any other requisite information to be known? So can you do it in...
Yes, you can do it in your own company. So the first process would be your company must be a registered company in Ghana that pays taxes and everything and has a physical presence. So you should have an office. You cannot say you are a mobile office and you are, let's say, digital. We cannot allow you to do service at such places because we have to come verify all of that. And then there are times our officers go for monitoring to see if really the service has been done. So after you bring us all these details of registration, then you add a letter to it to say that I so wants to do service there with your NSS number, because that is what we know our personnel with. And then with that one, we would post you to the place. You will have to pay us a 20% of the national service allowance per whatever the allowance is, and as of now is 559.04.
Why do they have to pay you 20%?
So you pay the 20% as a private sector getting sort of cheaper labor from government, and also our national service personnel coming to serve at where you are.
Okay, there's a concern. Someone, William from Kofodia, you're saying, as a matter of fact, NSS should, as soon as possible, increase the allowance of the personnel. Is that a plan that we are likely to see this service here?
That can be a plan, because already mid-year has been read. We did budgets as of last year. I had gone to defend and appropriate all our budgetary allocations. So NSS personnel are paid from the government COFEX. And this one is only done through the system of us getting our budgetary allocations, and it's already been done. So maybe, yes, in the next coming year, we could consider that, but for now,
right,
it's been approved.
So there's a rumor, and because you're here, we'll just ask you quickly. We are hearing that there's a plan to deduct some monies from personnel's allowances towards the National Cathedral.
Never true.
Never true.
Never true.
Because categorically false.
Yes. So what happens is that, for instance, with the NSS allowance, the 559.04 I'm talking about, there is no tax deduction on it. The figure comes as it is, and nobody can deduct anything unless it's something that NASPA, that's their personnel association, is approved of. And the NASPA Congress has already been held, and as they held it, they didn't bring us any. And the council had stated that they want to do any donation whatsoever to the cathedral.
The questions I'm here, but let me give you 2 seconds to catch your breath. Jerry, if you're with us, Jerry Kweku Adehe is the Vice President of the SRC at the Ghana Communication Technology University, so Ghana Telecom University, and he joins us now. Good morning, Jerry. Jerry, can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you.
Perfect. Now, I just want to pick your impressions about what the delays mean for students, because you're Vice President of the SRC at GTUC. What has the COVID-19 related delays with the NSS, what does it mean for students who are about to graduate this year?
Okay. First of all, I want to say a very good morning to all our cherished viewers, and a big thank you for this opportunity. I would like to say I'm especially grateful that the strike could be called off earlier than expected. You know, in time past, when such strike actions happen, they actually take longer than this. As students, we're quite worried, frankly speaking, about the ripple effect that the COVID-19 and then the just ended strike was going to have on us as students concerning our NSS. Just as the director mentioned, we were quite anxious because we were not having adequate information on what was going to happen in case we are not able to finish school on time and NSS has to start and combining service with exams. Because as it speaks now, there are some schools who are done with school, some people are done with school, some others are writing exams. And for someone like me, in my school at the moment, we have not even started exams. So it was bringing a lot of hullabaloo, a lot of anxiety. So from our side, I think with this information we have received, it's good information that we have received, that until we are done with school, we don't have any worries about NSS. Yes.
Right, but are you prepared to accept, even it's going to be delayed now, but are you preparing your people, are you prepared to start the service year later than usual?
Yes, absolutely prepared. We are absolutely prepared.
Right. Stay on for me, Jerry. I might have cause to come back to you in the course of the interview. Madam, so many questions are coming through. Bismarck from Awosh, you are asking about some posting that was there yesterday, but which is no longer there this morning. Madam is saying that it's still withheld, so the postings have not been done, so kindly take note. Someone is asking a question about those who have completed not receiving even messages to acknowledge that they have completed, and the process to even get their certificate has not started. You didn't tell us your name, but you said, ask Madam, those we finished our service last month, we have not received certificate, and some of us have not even received our message concerning our certificate. We are done and we need a certificate, so please ask her for us. When are the certificates coming for those who have completed?
I'm surprised because we've already issued out it means that the fellow who just sent the message one might have not either completed the annual assessment form, or if the person did the service at a private agency, they might have not even gotten back to us, because as we speak, two things we do now when we are done with service. We issue the digital certificate, which has a two-factor security protection, and it's on a barcode, so you don't even need a physical certificate again. You can print it yourself, and then it has security features so you can use them. And then as I'm speaking to you, second week of August, which was their terminal leave, August is a terminal leave for them, we started sending out the certificates to their various homes. So it's no more the point of coming to the National Service Office for your certificate, but then if you go on your portal in July, you are asked where you would live after your service. And wherever you stated with the details of it and putting out a good GPS address, we do deliveries into their homes free of charge.
Right. Prince Money, you are asking, please, we have nurses who have graduated in March 2020, that's the universities, and 2020 referrals who are waiting for their NSS PIN code released. Please, we want to know when they are releasing our PIN code.
So we have two sets of nurses. We post the graduate nurses that are part of the bulk, and then we post nurses that also went to the various nursing training colleges, and then they are supposed to be brought to us by the Midwifery Council. So like he said, some other people were giving referrals. So when you're giving a referral, you cannot be seen as a nurse. So until we know finally that they have passed their exams, we cannot release their pins. And these pins are mostly released around between September and October. And for those ones, we are still on time, and we would release it as and when that period is.
There's quite a number of questions on special posting.
That's so not something that is at national. So we don't have anything called special posting.
That does not exist?
No.
But it's something that people think it's a thing. So that there's the impression that perhaps if you do not like where you are posted, or you do not find space, because we've had genuine cases where people have gone to organizations and they've been told there's no space.
Yeah.
And so we understand, or we are made to understand, that there's a certain process that you can go to get special posting, and we are told it's sometimes a whom you know affair.
It's so not true. So it's just like this. I am posted somewhere, let's say Greater Accra, posted to the East District, and then I go to the place and they say there is no space for me. You just have to walk into the East National Service Office, and when you go there, you just tell them that, because obviously when there is no posting, they stamp the letters, and we will repost you to the East to Greater Accra again. And this one, it's whether you know me or you don't, it's really, it doesn't matter, because what happened, for instance, I always share this thing with people. I've had a young lady walk into the office and say, Madam, I'm sorry, but I was posted to GMPC Takrade, but I don't want it. Like, everybody wants to go to GMPC, why? And she says that when I was in school, I have this boyfriend of mine who says if I don't do my service at the same place that I'm leaving, he's not going to be with me again. This may look
let's rest that case. But let me quickly come to you, Jerry, and I'll come to you to pick your final thoughts. Jerry, what would be some of the concerns you'd want to raise once the madam is here to listen to ahead of the postings being announced later on?
The very first concern is on the level of information. We hope that once the posting is out, the information can be out there so that people can have access to the information that, postings and out and starts the process. We're also hoping that, just as you said, there's some sort of favoritism, rumors on that some is whom you know are fair, that kind of stuff. We're hoping that the Secretariat will make sure that things are done fairly so that everybody is treated equally. Yeah.
Right, thank you, Jerry, and we appreciate your time with us this morning. So, re-echoing some of the concerns that we've heard there.
So, to just simplify the process we use to post, we first consider the people that are being asked for. So, for instance, BC is written to us that they need people from GIJ. If you went to GIJ, we'll consider you first. We'll look at if you're living in Accra or not. We'll put you in there. We also consider the courses that you did and where the course is relevant. But then the biggest chunk of our posting go to the education sector and the health sector. So these two sectors need people. We post them to it. And then we consider people who are married, as men who are married. We consider people with sicknesses and people with lactating mothers and other stuff. And if you have any you're physically challenged, we also consider these people. So when we are done with all of these processes, that is when we look at the as and when. So if, for instance, your school says they want you at TA and MTN wants you, we'll take you to your school. Because like I said, we consider education sector and the health sector. We will not post you to MTN. So really this whole idea of consideration and who is, because when we are posting, we don't even know the names of the people. All we see is their NSS numbers. It's like the way the university does it. Because when I went to school, Dr. Vladimir was my lecturer. I don't think he ever even got to know that this is Getty's details. But he knew me personally. But it was my index he was using. That same way, National Service only puts NSS numbers.
Okay, so there's so many questions I have not had the opportunity to ask you. How do people get their issues resolved? Because there's already we've been talking for 20 minutes. There's about 120 messages that I have not been able to read to you. How do people get their concerns resolved? So that's all these questions. Listen, guys. All these questions you've sent me, because of time, we are not able to ask everything. But she's going to tell you where you can channel those questions to get results. Okay? So listen.
Yes, our first is on our website, www.nss.gov.gh. We have a live chat that replies all the messages. We stack the messages on, so unlike other websites, when you have to go and come back, we stack the message and you can always progress on it. You can also go on our social media handles, which is the NSS and its National Service Scheme, and that's the only social media handle we have, which is our official handles. If you walk into any of our offices, you get all the answers I am giving here. If you also come on our pages, for instance, my personal page and my other colleagues' personal page, you would also get that. So Himijan's personal page and my page is just Gifty Owari Abuaje. That's all I have.
Okay, so that's where you need to go. That's where you need to send all the questions. Gifty Owari Abuaje. Send all your questions there. Ma'am, just quickly, a quick one. The delay is going to affect organizations as well, because some of them actually rely on these service personnel. How are you going to handle that situation?
Like I said, we've had a lot of stakeholder conferences. We've met and agreed on some of these, and so there are some of our agencies that rely on us that are extending a month for these national service personnel.
So the ones who are already in the system?
Yes, some have been given extension of month. For instance, in both universities and most of the tertiaries, they're also struggling with this because these TAs are also people they rely on. And then Minister is giving us approval to be able to extend the period that these people are doing their service. Yeah.
So how long are we looking at here, and how soon should we expect the postings to actually take effect or to be announced?
Like I said, it would be reliant on when the national service personnel are going to complete school. So if, for instance, today we know that at least 85% of the schools have been able to complete their processes, in the next week we would, because we are ready, just as they were able to see their postings, that's how ready we are as national service. For us, all our systems are done. It's just a point of clicking on the dot and saying that postings are issued. We issue press statement first to tell through the media that we've issued postings. Then in less than a minute, national service personnel get SMS from us to say that this posting, we take about 3 days before we allow them to print, because there could be error in names, error in the places they went to. Then after 3 days they can print, and then the process begins. And now the process is very simple. You don't have to run around again. It's digitized, so it's very, very simple.
Especially in the midst of a pandemic,
yes.
we would want to minimize time.
So
certainly don't go to the NSS office.
No, you don't have to go to the NSS
but office. But use social media. And you're assuring them, because on this program, we're
not just assuring them. That's been the process right from 2018.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a process, and this process is automated.
Right. Thank you, Madam. But I think we should have you back again when maybe a bit later on to answer a few more questions, because there's tons of them. So send your questions and comments and concerns to the Madam. Her name, Dr. Giftio Ware-Abuaji. She's the Deputy Executive Director, the National Service Scheme. Thank you, ma'am, for agreeing to speak to us.
Welcome.
Thank you also to you, Jerry Kweku Adehe, Vice President SRC GTUC Ghana Telecom University, and we appreciate your time. So all your questions, I'm so sorry, there's so many of them that are coming, we have not been able to respond, but send them to those places she has indicated and you will get answers. We've started the conversation. It by all means will not end here, but you will get your answers if you use the channels that she has mentioned. Thank you for sending those comments to us, and there is more ahead in this package of breakfast. We are going to the lighter side, and the next segment is all about
Hi, welcome to the lighter side of the breakfast table. So with T and Madame Gifty going back to back on how the NSS is faring, over here we are going to talk about how to release your stress. How do you release stress? Some say you have to walk, others say you have to jog, you have to do yoga, others say you have to drink wine or beer to de-stress. Which one is your way of de-stressing? Kindly send us your comments and your views via our WhatsApp number 05555 61034 or via the hashtag GTV breakfast on all our social media handles. Now joining me to talk yoga and the general well-being of the human body, we have an amazing woman in the studio. I don't know if I should refer to you as a yogi, Crystal. Are you a yogi?
I'm hesitant in saying yogi. To be honest with you, I think there's a bit of yogi in all of us. So it's just about discovering it. So yeah, you're a yogi, I'm a yogi.
So we're going to discuss how to use yoga as a stress relief, some form of therapy for women. Before that though, I'm sure everybody wants to ask. I want to ask you, can you do the headstand thing, you know, where your feet is up in the air and your foot is in the ground? Do you do that? Can you do that?
Yeah, I practice that. Absolutely, it's part of the practice. Not every day, but I do some sort of inversion every day. Inversion meaning head down, because that's good for the blood circulation. Okay, so I think personally that's the point we get to where you're like, oh, like you are there, and the one that can you actually suspend? There's so many questions I want to ask about yoga. You know, can you do that? What do you mean suspend in the air?
Some sort of come up, some elevation thing. Okay, that's just us being funny. Tell us about yoga, and I know you have to be flexible to actually practice yoga.
Okay, so let's clarify. Okay, so first of all, what is yoga? So it basically started in India many years ago. Sure. Some people actually say it really began in Africa, but you can Google that. And what it actually means, the word itself means unity. Many people practice in groups, and it was basically created for mental stability, but also physical activity. And so, yeah, it's for all ages, genders, okay, don't get it twisted, not just for women. And yeah, it's useful in many different aspects of life.
So how long does it take you to get to the point on the screen that we are seeing now for you to actually stretch like that?
Yeah, you know, what yoga is about, it's not about the objective, about getting to that point. It's about the process of getting there. So it's like life, you know what I mean? It's about the process. So how long does that take? I mean, if somebody practiced daily, they could get into that quite easily. But it's about the mindset.
How to psych yourself.
It's the mindset. It's making a conscious decision that is where you're going to get to, and it's about the process of getting there.
Do we have, do you have a studio? Do you have people coming in? Okay, that's a how do you call this?
Headstand.
A headstand.
Yeah.
And so that's a headstand. Wowzy.
Yeah, it feels good.
Wow. Okay, so tell us how we can use yoga to de-stress. I mean, assuming I get home, I have a bad headache from all the hours at work.
Yeah.
Typical day using yoga to de-stress. How's that possible? How do you do that?
Do you know what? I honestly believe it's about the way you start your day as opposed to in the evening. People can do yoga at any points in the day, but I think the morning is the best time to start your day with breathing. But many of us, we don't breathe properly. We breathe from the chest. Like, we have to learn how to breathe into the gut fully. And this actually helps with blood circulation. It helps with the oxygen that's going into the mind and how to
So we actually have to learn how to breathe properly. Is it just when you're doing yoga on whilst I'm sat here like this, I can actually, I'm supposed to learn how to breathe?
Yeah, I mean, it's not saying that you have to forcefully, you know, expand the gut, but it's moments that you need it. Yeah, I think the brain is really connected, because if you breathe now, directly expands your gut and you exhale fully, that is oxygen that is circulating in the bloodstream. It's allowing the mind to be even more active. So breathing is really important. Even posture. You and I were sitting here right now. Breathing and posture and commitment to the posture is actually a big part of the base of yoga.
Okay, some person coming in now, and they're asking if yoga is good for pregnant women.
Right. I actually did yoga in my pregnancy, and pregnancy yoga is a real thing. It's a real thing, and it's a beautiful thing as well. I mean, it's not about stretching to, you know, to the ends of the earth. As I said, it's about the practice, and it actually helps to expand the pelvis area. So then when it's time to give birth, not only are your parts down there ready to help you to release the baby, but also the breathing aspect of yoga it really helps. It helped me during my labor. You know, I didn't have any drugs, I had a natural birth, and it really helps.
So yoga actually helps during pregnancy.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Is yoga an expensive lifestyle or an expensive form of exercise?
Okay, well, I mean, you know, you can have somebody like me, okay, fair enough. I'm a lifestyle coach, yes, I deal with nutrition, yoga, and aerobics, all sorts of things. But also, there's online. Now everything is online. So it can be free in your home, you know, and it's a decision, you know, it's a decision within yourself. Whatever forms of exercise, it is a decision. And you can actually combine, what I do is I combine aerobics with yoga. And it's something that you can combine with other things.
Right. Okay, we are going to take a quick detour. We have on phone Doris Obenewa Dako. She is a yogi. Well, and she's a sales manager at Enterprise Life Insurance, the Takoradi branch. Hello, Doris. Thank you for joining us.
Hello.
Hi, Doris. How long have you been practicing? Oh, yes. Thank you for joining us. How long have you been practicing yoga?
It's been long. I think for the past 8 years.
Righties. So how has yoga helped you to manage your stress, exercise, and your general health?
Okay, so basically I think yoga is a means to get into the exercise scene. So I wanted to actually lose weight, but I didn't want to start off with the serious aerobics, so I was advised to get on board with yoga. And it helped because it eased my muscles with the flexibility and everything before I even started the serious aerobics. And it became part of me. So I actually had to push my morning yoga to evening yoga so that after a hard day's activity, I just do my yoga to distress and then go to bed.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Crystal,
yeah, I'm so interested. It's so nice to see you here. So yeah, has it become part of your lifestyle, Doris? Has it really become part of your everyday life?
It has. It has. If I have my regular schedule, I don't miss it.
Yeah.
Yes, because without it, I feel uneasy. Yeah.
Yes. Well done. Well done.
Right. So since both of you two practice yoga, what is this thing that, for those of us who do not practice yoga, we do know there's something that you guys do and say Zen. What's that? Is that what gets you into the mood? Because we are going to go right now and have some, yeah. What's that Zen thing?
No, but Zen it's the mindset. To be Zen, yoga is very much about peace.
Right.
From within.
Yeah.
So Zen it's just a term for the peace within.
Right.
You become less reactive when you practice yoga.
Okay, Doris, because you wanted to lose weight, and you got into yoga trying to lose weight. For a lot of people who have spoken about this issue, their main concern is the fact that they think that they are stiff and yoga is only for flexible people. Can you dispel that notion or make it easy for some of us to get onto the yoga mat?
Okay, actually, it's not true that you guys are flexible people. When I started off, I wasn't flexible, actually. Yes, but then with time, I realized my body was responding to certain poses. So it was easy to sink in. So it takes time for your muscles to relax and get into the whole scene. It's not for people who are already.
Thank you very much, Doris. Thank you for joining us.
So that's what I was saying.
Yeah,
like, it's about the process, getting there. That is the beauty of it. So getting those muscles, you know, you'll be surprised after a month. You're like, I can touch my toes. It's like
in like a month. So if I start now, in like a month, I'll be able to touch my toes.
I'd have to see where we're starting from. Like, where are you at now?
Right. Now let's talk about the general well-being. You are also a nutritionist, not just practicing yoga, but you deal with the whole nutrition thing. And I see you have a plate.
I have a plate. Yes.
Okay, so it's just for props, or what is the plate? Are you gonna teach us which meals to, do you have to like go on a special diet to practice yoga?
Okay. Well, I am not a nutritionist, although I did study part of my nutrition. I'm a lifestyle coach.
Sure.
So what that means is I'm thinking about overall well-being of the person, specifically women, because that's my passion, women's health. So it is physical activity, but nutrition. It would be criminal of me to sit here and just talk about physical activity when nutrition is such a big part of the goals that people have, whether it's weight loss, health concerns, you know, just general lifestyle change. It's a big part of the success of yoga.
Yeah.
So yeah, when it comes to nutrition, that's part of what I do, and yeah.
In a part of the world, we eat a lot of carbs. And behind the scenes, you're dispelling that. So let's have you tell us show us what are normal portions and what we should eat and what we should eat.
Okay, guys. So today I have bought a plate. Okay, from home. And you know what? I wanted to bring this because it's not really a joke. Because now we're dealing with a lot of health issues. This is just the reality. Okay. And we have to be more conscious of what we're eating, and this is the truth, okay? Now, I am not for diets. To be honest with you, 90% of diets don't even work.
People, have you heard? 90% of diets do not even work.
It doesn't work. So what is really important is that the lifestyle change is really how you succeed in the end, okay? So when it comes to food, I'm not saying don't eat banku, don't eat that, don't eat kenke, no. But we can reduce portions, for example. So here I go with my plate. So for me, like, it's about portions, okay? So for example, rice, a piece of meat, and some vegetables. How do people usually do it? Well, they usually do it majority rice, right? A little bit of vegetables, right? And a little bit of, maybe a little bit of meat. The right way, trust me on this, is, what do you think?
Half-size rice.
Listen, vegetables, okay? Vegetables, half of your plate should be vegetables, okay? Half, quarter, meat, okay? And a quarter, rice. I know it sounds crazy. I know, I know, but this is the way that we should be eating, okay? And when I say vegetables, it could be a fresh salad, but it could also be delicious roasted vegetables, okay? If you, whatever vegetables you have, you just chop up some onion with it, some garlic, put on a bit of oil, a little bit of salt, just toss it with your hands, throw it in the oven, medium to high heat. And trust me, it's coming out caramelized and delicious, and that goes with your meat or your stew and your rice, and you're good to go. Trust me.
Over to you guys. And so here we have it. Thou shalt eat small portions of carb. small portions of cup, including kenke and everything else. It's going to be really difficult for our Ghanaian folk, you know. Ghanaians, we like our food. So we're going to have Crystal go on to her yoga mat and then take us through what a normal yoga routine for her or anybody else looks like. So guys, we're going to take a quick break on a short video. When we come back, we're going to see Crystal on her mat doing her thing. Alright, let me show you start today. It's your life.
The basis of yoga. Okay. Now, the first thing that I want to start off with, as I mentioned before, is the breath. Okay. It's so important in yoga, but even in our lives, that we know how to breathe correctly. Okay.
Right.
So first, left hand on the heart space. Okay. Put my mic here.
So this is showing us how to breathe correctly.
How to breathe correctly, okay? And then your right hand on your gut area, on your stomach area. And from here, I want you to breathe in deeply through the gut, and then we're going to exhale completely, okay? So I'm breathing in and exhaling. And one more time, inhaling and exhaling. Lovely. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you something that seems quite basic. It's a mountain pose, okay? So it'll be arms by your side and standing straight. Now this might be something that seems quite easy to do, okay, but let me just show you from this angle, okay? Most of us, we stand like this.
So do we have to do this all the time while we are holding our breath in?
Whilst you're doing yoga, it's really important, your posture as well as your breath. As I said, she's the base of yoga. Yeah?
Sure.
So when you're standing, okay, this is how we stand, out, how some people stand, most people. What we want to do is bring the coccyx, okay, tailbone, in. So as this goes in, if you try it yourself, the stomach, the belly button automatically goes in.
Okay.
Okay, and then what we have here is true posture. So this move actually helps with posture, but also strengthening, because right now my legs are activated. Okay, so if we just roll it out and your palms forward, this is mountain pose. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to just have a little bit of a flow here, and I want your arms up as you inhale. Okay, so inhaling and exhaling and inhaling again and exhaling. Legs should be activated at this point, okay? All right, so then what we'll do a nice side stretch, okay? So inhale, arms up, and then I want your left hand to grab hold of your right wrist, just gently, and just bend over, okay? We're not trying to hit the floor right now. What we're trying to do is just feel the stretch along here, okay? And one deep breath, and exhale. Come back up. And then we'll do the other side, okay? So we'll get the right hand, we'll hold on to the left wrist, and we will first inhale and exhale. Go over. Inhale, exhale, and exhale. Up and release. Okay, wonderful. What's really nice to do after something like this is some shoulder rolls. Okay, so shoulder roll it out. And the other way. Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to go into something called ragdoll, okay? Basically, this helps to extend the spine and relax the spine. So again, breathing in, arms up. And then we're going to bring our arms down. And we're going to come to You can separate your legs and your feet a little bit and put a little bend in the knee, okay? This is not what we're trying to do here. As I said, it's not about like the straightest, the longest, the furthest. It's first of all doing it properly and learning how to do things properly, okay? Sure. So you just hang your head here. I want you to grab your elbows and I want you to just rock from side to side, okay? And how you release your back is actually, you can stop here and shake your head. Yes, yes, no, no. Yes, yes, no, no. And you will feel the weight of your head, huh? And that allows to extend the spine. Okay, is this all going towards flexibility and strength at the same time, okay? So you release your arms, and we bring it back up. And exhale, arms down, okay? So now what we're going to do is something called chair pose, okay? Bring our feet together, our ankles a little bit apart, and what we're going to do is put our hands on our hips here, and we're going to bend our feet, our knees, okay? Bend, okay? Watching? Okay, now arms up, inhale. Okay, now what's happening here? I'm going to turn to the side for you. Now we don't want to do this. Okay, that's what we're trying to do here. Remember, coccyx in, tailbone in. What does that do? Automatically, you're activated all the way down, okay? So, arms, breathing in, and raise up to exhale, okay?
Wow.
Right, we'll do it one last time here.
Okay.
I'll face the front so that you can see. Hands on the hips, and bend your knees, breathe in, arms up, and hold, breathe in, exhale, go down for me a little bit more, you can do it, and inhale, and exhale. Lovely. Okay, listen, we're going to bring it down to the ground. We're going to try and wrap it up around here. We're going to bring it down to the ground. Okay, so we're going to do a little seated, a seated twist, okay? So when you're right, should I face you?
I don't know. I think face the camera, yes, you're good.
Actually, you know what? This will be good.
Okay.
Like this. This is better.
Right.
Okay, so we're going to have our right foot going over our left leg, our left knee. We have our right hand holding on to our left knee. We want to bring our left hand, sorry, our right hand holding on to our right knee. We want to bring our arm up, our left hand up, and just fan it. Fan it. Again, it's about the process.
Okay.
Okay. Fan it to the base of your spine. Breathing always, shoulders down. Okay. Belly button in, coccyx down. Okay. Now you can stay here if that's comfortable for you. But if you want a bit more of a challenge, I would say right arm up and bend it at a 90-degree angle, and actually get that knee and that elbow to push onto each other and gaze to behind you. And don't forget to breathe. And on your next exhale, come back for me and release. Okay, we're going to do that with the next leg, okay? Flex the foot here, so we've got our right leg down. It is flexed, okay? Flexed. Bring your left leg over. Okay. You can move your little meat around, because the whole idea is that the tailbone is at the base, okay? So, yeah, basically we will do the same thing, 90-degree angle, come down, breathe, and that's it. And come on. And that's the way you get your introduction to a bit of yoga. Thank you.
Down there. You make it look so easy.
And that's the Zen pose. All right, people. You want to join her?
Too late.
Okay, for
too
2 seconds because 2 seconds.
You need
2 seconds.
You're on the wrong clothes and shoes.
So guys, while Kaf and Crystal are down there trying to release some stress.
Okay, let's see what you
These
can
are
do.
some tips.
Okay. So we are going to... Oh, you know this one. You know this one.
Crystal the assembler.
There we
Crystal
go.
the assembler.
That's it. Oh, how does that feel? Breathe. Come back. Come back. Come back. Let me see if you could do this.
So on that note, guys, this is where you continue practicing your yoga steps in the house. We'll leave Kafui and Crystal there, but Crystal has helped us to find ways to release stress.
Look at that.
Oh my God! And so,
yeah, Kaf, don't try it.
Crystal Joy Williams is a mind and body fitness expert. And she's actually the owner of Mind and Body Fitness Ghana.
Can I do our acknowledgements very quickly? Happy birthday to Akwabwa. Congratulations, Reverend Harrison Adai and Reverend Dennis Aglebe of Gateway Baptist Church Community 11 Tema on the ordination. My outfit by Barbara Couture. Thank you so much, Barbara, for sending me this lovely outfit. Thanks to Awake Mineral